This? Jing Yu's eyes were filled with disbelief. Since Zhao Hong had already said this much, she couldn't really say anything more. Although Zhao Hong's words were quite bold, for some reason, Jing Yu felt that Zhao Hong wasn't lying at all, believing that what he said was true. I understand. I'll talk to the company later and see if they can agree to this condition. Jing Yu nodded. She couldn't make the decision herself. She could only wait to report to the company and let them decide. All right, let's eat first. After a while, the three of them chatted about other topics while eating. Jing Yu's mind was still on what had just happened. She was now even more curious about Zhao Hong and his companions' identities, but she was too embarrassed to ask more. They were deliberately being so low-key. There must be a reason, right? Better not to ask. When all three felt they had eaten enough, they left the restaurant. It was already around midnight. They returned to the school together. Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran walked Jing Yu back to her dormitory before the two of them went back together. When they returned, the elevator had been repaired. After this incident, they felt a little apprehensive riding this elevator. Anyway, they had made their conditions very clear. The rest was up to Jing Yu to decide. When Jing Yu returned to her dorm, it was pitch black. She tiptoed, using only her phone's flashlight, moving forward bit by bit, afraid of waking Tang Ji and Yu Lingshu. Clack! Just then, the lights in the dorm suddenly turned on, startling Jing Yu. Ah! Jing Yu exclaimed, turning her head to see Tang Ji standing by the door, leaning against the wall, quietly looking at her. At the same time, Yu Lingxue was also sitting on a chair. Neither of them had slept, as if they were waiting for her to return. You're not asleep? Then why weren't the lights on? You scared me. Jing Yu forced a smile. For some reason, looking at Tang Ji's expression, she felt a bit intimidated. Those eyes seemed to see right through her. Waiting for you. We didn't know if you were coming back tonight. Worried you might be in danger. Tang Ji walked past Jing Yu, sat down in her own seat, and looked at her calmly, her expression no longer as stern as before. Jing Yu kept patting her chest to calm herself down. Oh, I see. Thank you. I'm fine. I want to eat with Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran. As soon as she said this, Tang Ji and Yu Lingxue exchanged a glance, their eyebrows slightly raised, as if signaling something secretly. Actually, I didn't need to guess much. Jing Yu's intentions were too obvious. If it was just a simple meal, why not invite the two of them along? It was clear she had something to discuss with Zhao Hong and his companion privately. This was enough to make them curious. Yu Lingxue propped her cheek on her hand and asked, seemingly casually, "What did you need Zhao Hong and his friend for? Is there something you need help with? We're friends too, tell us, huh?" Jing Yu was stumped by the question. She hadn't expected Yu Lingxue to ask so directly and with such a casual tone. If she tried to brush it off, it would definitely arouse their suspicion. I indeed have something I need Zhao Hong and his friends help with, but it's not a big deal. Tang Ji suddenly stood up and asked, "Did you hear something somewhere? That made you think Zhao Hong and his friend could help you?" What do you mean? This time, Jing Yu wasn't feigning ignorance. She genuinely didn't understand what Tang Ji meant. Tang Ji took out her phone, unlocked it, and showed it to Jing Yu. On the screen was the event organized by Jiwenhao. Is this what you want their help with? I've been following this event too. It says they'll invite a model to cosplay a popular character from the game. When I heard model, you were the first person I thought of. Jing Yu's eyes widened in shock, and she unconsciously took a step back. She looked at Tang Ji in disbelief, even suspecting if Tang Ji had followed her tonight. Otherwise, how could she know so clearly? Was her logic that strong? To connect all of this, and connect it so accurately? At the same time, Jing Yu also thought about what Tang Ji had just said. Why did she say she heard something somewhere that made her think Zhao Hong and his friend could help? Did it have something to do with their identities? Seeing Jing Yu's reaction, Tang Ji knew she must have guessed correctly. For her, this matter was quite easy to deduce. Seeing that she couldn't deny it, Jing Yu lowered her head and confessed honestly, yes. Indeed, it's for this matter. But when you said I heard something somewhere, I don't know about that. I just feel that Zhao Hong and his friends' identities are not simple, so I sought their help. I see. Tang Ji nodded in realization, knowing Jing Yu wasn't lying. She also knew there was no need to ask further. All right, you're not wrong. Asking Zhao Hong and his friend for help is indeed useful. Is that so? Tang Ji and Yu Lingxue said nothing more and prepared to go back to bed. This made Jing Yu even more surprised. Had she done the right thing or not? That night, when Jing Yu had tidied up and was ready for bed, she couldn't close her eyes. Her mind kept replaying the day's events, and she had a feeling something bad was going to happen. After a long time, Jing Yu finally managed to fall asleep. She woke up early the next morning, having hardly slept at all. After getting up, she started to get ready. Once she was done, she thought about calling Gubo to tell him about this and ask him to consult the company. Just as she was holding her phone, composing her words, she suddenly received a call. It was from her manager, Gubo. Hello, Uncle. I was just about to call you. We'll talk later? You come out first. I'm at the school gate. There's something to discuss. Now? All right, I'll be right out. Jing Yu hung up the phone and hurried out the door, walking out of the dormitory towards the school gate. Outside the gate, she saw Gubo's car. She walked over, opened the car door, and got in. Gubo was sitting in the back, talking to someone else on the phone. Seeing Jing Yu get in, he made an excuse and hung up. What's wrong, Uncle? So urgent. I also have something I want to tell you. Your matter can wait. The company has found a way for you to get this spot. Listen to me first. What? Then Gubo took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and said, It's like this. Yesterday, the person in charge of this event called. He said he can let you participate, but the condition is that you have to have a meal with him. What does that mean? Jing Yu's pretty eyebrows furrowed, and a serious expression appeared on her face, looking somewhat angry. Don't be nervous, it's just a meal. In fact, many models have already offered themselves, but they were all rejected. Impossible, I won't go. He's definitely up to no good. I won't make such a sacrifice for this opportunity. Jing Yu shook her head, resolutely refusing. She had been in the industry for quite some time and knew its dark side very well. Countless hands had tried to drag her into the abyss, but she had firmly rejected them every time, so she would do the same this time. Sai, you have no choice. The company has already accepted this condition on your behalf. If you don't go, it's a breach of contract. No, they didn't even ask for my consent. Why did they agree on my behalf? Did you agree to? Jing Yu's brows furrowed tightly. She pointed at Gubo and questioned him, her emotions a little agitated. Gubo pushed up his glasses and said faintly, Isn't this for your own good? It's just a meal, not sleeping with him. Why make such a big fuss? You're still too young. Things like this will be common in the future. You can't even handle this much now. This time it's just a meal. And then? Next time? Isn't this just the beginning? Otherwise, what's he after? Does food taste better with me? Gubo pursed his lips, crossed his legs, and said, Then either you find a way to get this spot yourself, or don't defy the company's decision. Fine. I've already found a way. I was just about to tell you about this. I have a friend who can help me. Although there are conditions, the condition is that I have to be Junheng's free spokesperson in the future. I believe him. He will definitely keep his word. Jing Yu now saw Zhao Hong as her only lifeline. Only he could help her out of this mess. But when Gubo heard this, he was stunned for a few seconds, then suspected he had misheard. Jing Yu, when did you learn to lie? How could you utter such a clumsy lie? I'm not lying. Do you even hear what you're saying? The fact that you said you have a friend who can help is already ridiculous. A college student, how much power can he have to dare say such things? Secondly, what do you think we're doing? We're begging them to let us be their spokesperson, aren't we? And you're telling me the corresponding condition is to be a free spokesperson? Forget free. It would be worth it even if we paid them. Can you realize how ridiculous your lie is? Jing Yu was rendered speechless, her mind instantly in turmoil. She genuinely didn't know if this condition was good or bad. Junheng's influence was undeniable. Countless people wanted to be their spokesperson but didn't get the chance. Forget free. Some would even pay for the opportunity. But their condition was that she had to attend any event, big or small, whenever needed. This point still needed careful consideration because there was no guarantee that every appearance would have a positive impact. Jing Yu's fist clenched, trembling slightly. She lowered her head and remained silent for a long while before speaking, word by word. I'm not lying. I believe him. Childish. You're not playing some house game. I hope you can take your work seriously. Tonight at 8, I'll be waiting for you at the restaurant entrance. Here's the address. Gubo directly handed Jing Yu a business card. It was for a high-end restaurant. Jing Yu's face darkened. She hated this feeling of being manipulated, of having no choice. But she didn't say anything more. She knew further talk would be fruitless. She could only find a solution herself. Jing Yu took the business card, then opened the car door and got out without a word, heading straight back to the school. She went to class. In the classroom, she was gloomy and had no mind for her lessons, her head full of what to do tonight. Tang Ji and Yu Lingshu saw all of this. After class, they came to Jing Yu's desk and asked, What's wrong? Why so gloomy? Did something happen? Jing Yu looked up and saw the two of them, then sighed heavily. Sigh, it's nothing. If something's wrong, just say it. Even if we can't help, we can offer some ideas, right? Tang Ji leaned against the nearby windowsill and said softly, Jing Yu thought that perhaps she really couldn't solve this problem alone, so she told them what had happened. After hearing it, they couldn't help but frown, especially Yu Lingxue, whose expression was very unpleasant. The person in charge of the event should be Manager Zhang from the marketing department, right? That guy's over 40. You know him? Jing Yu looked up at Yu Lingxue and asked in surprise. Yu Lingxue shook her head and said, "No, I don't know him, just heard of him. Anyway, you definitely can't go along with him. He's certainly up to no good, but I don't have any other way. The company has already agreed for me. If I don't have another solution, I have to go tonight." Jing Yu lowered her head in despair, her hands covering her head, looking very agitated. Tang Ji shrugged and said, "This matter, only one person can help you." "Who?" "Zhao Hong." "Really? Only he can help you." "Zhao Hong." Jing Yu indeed held some hope for Zhao Hong, but she couldn't guarantee he could really help her. After all, this was a conflict between her and her company. The other party was Jiwenheng's marketing manager. Even Zhao Hong might find it difficult to intervene. Despite this, Jing Yu still placed her hopes on Zhao Hong. During the lunch break, she once again went to the Jiwenheng building to find Zhao Hong. Zhao Hong and Yi Minggran had also just finished class and were about to go eat. They saw Jing Yu as they walked out. They weren't surprised by Jing Yu's arrival, thinking she had come to an agreement with her company. But then, Jing Yu told them what had happened in the morning. Zhao Hong frowned instantly. "You're saying someone from Jiwenheng wants you to dine with him, and then he'll give you the spot. Is that it?" "Yes, that's right. I heard it's Manager Zhang from the marketing department. I really have no other choice, so..." Before Jing Yu could finish her plea, Zhao Hong waved his hand and said, "You don't need to say any more. 8 o'clock tonight, right? You just go as planned. Leave the rest to me." Around 7:30 in the evening, Jing Yu walked out of her dormitory. She was wearing a tracksuit, a cotton jacket from a pair of round-frame glasses, her hair tied up, her collar pulled high, and no makeup at all. In short, there was nothing remotely sexy about her. She had dressed herself like an ordinary, well-behaved student found in any university. This was her little act of revenge. Anyway, no one had specified what she had to wear or that she had to wear makeup. Since it was just a meal, she could look however she wanted, right? Jing Yu opened her navigation app and glanced at the restaurant's address. It was near the university, only a 5-minute walk. At the same time, she sent the restaurant's location to Yi Minggran. Zhao Hong had said she just needed to go normally, and he would handle the rest. But even now, Jing Yu didn't know how Zhao Hong planned to resolve this. Since Zhao Hong had said so, she could only trust him. There was no other way. She had pinned all her hopes on Zhao Hong, hoping he wouldn't disappoint her. As long as this matter could be perfectly resolved, she would owe Zhao Hong a huge favor, which she would have to find an opportunity to repay in the future. Jing Yu walked very slowly. She knew Zhao Hong and the others wouldn't finish class until 8, so she had to drag out the time as much as possible, delaying until Zhao Hong arrived. The 5-minute journey took her a full 15 minutes to reach her destination. In the restaurant's parking lot, Jing Yu saw Gubo's car parked there at a glance. She walked over, preparing to meet Gubo first. The moment she opened the car door and got in, Gubo, inside the car, frowned instantly. It was only after staring at Jing Yu's face for a while that he exclaimed, "What are you doing? I almost didn't recognize you." What is the meaning of this outfit? What's wrong with it? As a university student, isn't it normal for me to dress like this? Do I have to wear a skirt and heavy makeup on a cold winter night? What do you take me for?" Jing Yu didn't back down at all, her tone firm and her reasoning sound. She wasn't afraid of Gubo refuting her. After all, he was the one who said it was just a meal. So, couldn't she wear whatever she wanted? Look however she wanted? If he insisted she dress so beautifully and sexily, would it still be just a simple meal? This is you not taking your work seriously. You've been working for a year or two, yet you still throw childish tantrums. So immature. Gubo's brows furrowed habitually as he spoke irritably. TSK. Jing Yu didn't intend to say much more to him. He couldn't understand her feelings anyway, nor could he help her. Instead of treating him as an uncle, it was better to just treat him as a regular manager. Gubo glanced at the time and said softly, "TSK, it's too late for you to change now. Just say you just finished work, it was a work requirement, and you rushed over. The appointment with him is at 8, there's still 5 minutes. Go in now, mention his name, Zhang Hongzhuang. Pay attention to your words and attitude. You only have this one chance." Jing Yu didn't reply, directly opened the car door, got out, and slammed it shut. Gubo sighed, looked at the driver in front, and asked helplessly, "Uncle Tian, what did I do wrong? Isn't this all for her good? This is how things are in this industry. I warned her back then." Uncle Tian placed his hands on the steering wheel, watching Jing Yu's retreating figure as she walked towards the restaurant, and said, The child is grown up. It's normal for her to have her own ideas. She's very smart, it's fine, don't worry. Jing Yu put her hands in her pockets, walking unsteadily. Not at all like a model going to a high-end restaurant for dinner, but more like a university student who had slept in her dorm all day, woke up hungry, and then crawled out to find food in the cafeteria. After entering the restaurant, the waiter at the door instinctively showed a disdainful expression, but it was fleeting, and Jing Yu didn't see it. Jing Yu swore that if the waiter showed any sign of looking down on her, she would turn around and leave immediately, then blame the restaurant for not letting her in. Hello, welcome. Do you have a reservation? Yes, for someone named Zhao Hong. Oh, it's Manager Zhang. All right, please follow me. Jing Yu followed the waiter upstairs, all the way to the door of a private room. Pushing open the door, Jing Yu instantly showed an expression of disgust. The private room wasn't large to begin with, already seeming quite intimate. There was a bouquet of flowers on the table. The room was decorated romantically, and there were even petals on the floor. If it were a loving couple, they would surely find it very romantic. Just walking in would exude an air of hormones. But Jing Yu just wanted to vomit right now. She felt utterly disgusted, her whole body numb, the kind that gives you goosebumps. The waiter went out and closed the door. Jing Yu sat on the chair, feeling uncomfortable all over, her head aching. She quickly took out her phone, wanting to contact Mingran and ask when they could arrive. She might not be able to last long here, and if they were in this private room, it would be difficult for Zhao Hong and the others to find them. So, she had to find a way to leave this private room later. Just as Jing Yu took out her phone, preparing to send a message, a soft knock suddenly came from the door. Jing Yu was so scared she immediately put her phone away. Then, the door was slowly pushed open. A man of about 40 stood at the door. His large belly, so big he couldn't see his toes when looking down, his thinning hair, and the greasy expression on his face, all disgusted Jing Yu. Despite this, Jing Yu decided to respect the work. She stood up, bowed slightly, and said softly, "Hello." "Hey, hello, sit down, it's all right." Zhang Hongzhuang immediately grinned, waved his hand, then walked in and closed the door of the private room. For a moment, Jing Yu felt the private room was very crowded, as if the room itself stank. "Ahem, I'm very sorry to appear like this. I just came from work, it was a work requirement. You don't mind, do you?" Jing Yu explained lightly, her tone devoid of any emotion. Zhang Hongzhuang genuinely didn't seem to mind. He waved his hand and said, I don't mind. This is quite good too. Like a young person. I've seen too many of those gaudy models. It's actually nice to see someone like you occasionally." "Ahem, Manager Zhang, can we go to the main hall downstairs? There are too many flowers here. I'm allergic to flowers." Jing Yu covered her nose and made up a lie. She didn't want to stay here with this person for another moment. She felt that every extra second spent here put her in danger. This guy's eyes were practically undressing her. Zhang Hongzhuang slapped his forehead and said, "Oh dear, allergic to flowers. I really should have checked beforehand. All right, can we change to another private room then?" "Oh no." Jing Yu immediately interrupted him, pursed her lips, and continued, "Actually, I also have claustrophobia. I'd still prefer to go to the main hall downstairs. This small request, you should be able to grant me, right?" Zhang Hongzhuang stared at Jing Yu for a few seconds, squinting his eyes. Jing Yu felt a little uneasy. She knew she wasn't good at lying. As soon as she lied, she would definitely be exposed. So she was very nervous now, afraid that Zhang Hongzhuang would see through her lie. As a result, after staring at her for a few seconds, Zhang Hongzhuang opened his eyes, chuckled, and said, Of course, no problem. You're different from the others, you know. I even like your little lies. It's fine, let's go downstairs then." While Jing Yu was secretly pleased, she also wanted to curse. He likes this too? If she had known, she should have done the opposite, dressed as provocatively as possible. Maybe then he wouldn't have been interested. Jing Yu didn't reply, and went downstairs to the main hall with Zhang Hongzhuang. Although there weren't many customers in the hall at this time, in such a spacious place, with waiters and all, she felt much better. If she had continued to stay in that private room with this guy, she really would have developed claustrophobia. Jing Yu glanced at the time. It was already 8:10. Zhao Hong and the others should have finished class, right? When would they arrive? Could she hold on until they came? At this moment, Zhang Hongzhuang had also finished ordering and was sitting there looking at Jing Yu, a lewd smile on his face. Jing Yu pretended to be busy, looking elsewhere, deliberately avoiding eye contact with Zhang Hongzhuang. I heard you on the spot for this event, right? You should know. I'm the one in charge, right? You also know your competition is stiff, right? But it's just a matter of a word from me." Jing Yu lowered her head. She thought he would beat around the bush first, but she didn't expect him to be so direct, getting straight to the point. Jing Yu put on a forced smile, looked up at Zhang Hongzhuang, and said softly, "Is that so? Manager Zhang, since it's so simple, then you can just say the word and give me the spot. I'll be very grateful to you." "Oh, how do you plan to thank me?" Zhang Hongzhuang leaned his head forward, trying to reach out his hand. Jing Yu immediately pulled her hand back, giving him no chance. "I'll about to thank you, send you some gifts, or give you a red envelope. Will that do?" "Ha ha ha. Young people, you really don't understand anything." Zhang Hongzhuang laughed a few times, then propped his chin on his hand, squinted his eyes, stared at Jing Yu, and whispered, "Do you know how others do it? I don't think I need to teach you, right? Don't worry, I'll make you feel it's worth it. Not just the spot for this event. My position in Juanheng is quite good. I can often help you in the future." Jing Yu's mouth twitched. She said in a low voice, "No way, Manager Zhang. I heard that Juanheng's inspection department is very strict. Aren't your actions violating the rules?" "Umph." Zhang Hongzhuang snorted, tapped the table, and continued, "Am I afraid of that? I'm not bragging. The deputy director of the inspection department is my good buddy. With him around, he can cover for me in anything." Clack! Just then, a sound came from beside them. 2 chairs were suddenly placed next to them, startling both Jing Yu and Zhang Hongzhuang. They looked up, and Jing Yu's eyes instantly lit up. It was Zhao Hong and Mingran. They had arrived. After Zhao Hong brought over 2 chairs, he and Mingran sat down directly beside them. Then, Zhao Hong crossed his legs, rubbed his chin with his hand, stared at Zhang Hongzhuang, and said in a low voice, "Ah, don't mind us." And then, "You continue." "No. Who are you? What are you doing?" Zhang Hongzhuang immediately stood up, warily staring at the two, frowning and shouting. Don't shout, don't shout." Zhao Hong extended his hand, making a stopping gesture, and continued, "In such an elegant place, why shout? It makes you look like a barbarian. If you have something to say, sit down and say it. I'm quite interested in what you were just saying. I want to hear it. Are you leaving or not? I'll give you one chance, scram now, or else I won't be polite." Zhang Hongzhuang pointed at the two, his tone firm, looking very angry. He had just started to show off, and these 2 guys interrupted him. Zhao Hong smiled faintly and said, "Oh dear, Manager Zhang, I forgot to say, I'm sorry. Actually, I also have family working at Juanheng. I wanted to get closer to you, is that all right?" "Huh, what kind of thing is he wanting to get close to me? He's not even worthy of polishing my shoes. Do you know what my status is in Juanheng? Which manager doesn't give me face? I have very good connections in every department. When I do things in Juanheng, no one dares to object. Understand?" While Zhang Hongzhuang was berating Zhao Hong, he also successfully showed off, his eyes occasionally glancing at Jing Yu, wanting to see her reaction. Normally, this was when she should be fawning over him, right? Is this little girl slow to react? Didn't she understand? Wow, so impressive. Then you're practically omnipotent in Juanheng? No one can control you, huh? Zhao Hong pretended to be surprised, spread his hands, and said, "Nonsense. Come on, tell me what your family member does, and see if I don't deal with him when I go to work tomorrow. Daring to ruin my good thing. He won't have it easy either. I'm telling you, I have buddies in the personnel department too. I can make him get lost from Juanheng in an instant." The more Zhang Hongzhuang spoke, the more agitated he became. He slammed the table, attracting the attention of others, who now all focused their gazes on them. Zhao Heng's expression was calm. He exhaled, nodded, and then took out his phone from his pocket. "All right, since you say so, I'll call him and let him talk to you." Watching Zhao Hong sit there dialing a number, Jing Yu was extremely nervous, not knowing who Zhao Hong was calling or if his claim about having family working at Juanheng was true. She just saw Mingran beside him, lightly pursing her lips as if trying to suppress a laugh. Zhang Hongzhuang stood there, looking particularly arrogant, not at all worried about who Zhao Hong would call. He was even prepared to curse the other person harshly once the call connected, preferably finding out who they were and which department they belonged to, then using his power to make sure they wouldn't have it easy. After a moment, Zhao Heng's call connected. He first put the phone to his ear and said softly, "Hello? Dad, are you busy now?" Hearing Zhao Heng's words, Jing Yu and Zhang Hongzhuang realized that the family member he mentioned was his father. "Yes, right? There's something I want to tell you. I'm here with Manager Zhang from the marketing department. I've heard a lot of things, and he wants to talk to you. Why don't you talk to him personally?" Okay. Zhao Hong nodded and then handed the phone to Zhang Hongzhuang opposite him. Zhang Hongzhuang frowned and glared at Zhao Hong, then snatched the phone, put it to his ear, and shouted, "Hello. Who are you?" His tone was very unfriendly, his temper extremely volatile. In fact, he was indeed in a bad mood right now. I'm Zhao Hong's father. Who are you? I'm Manager Zhang from the Junhong Main Building's marketing department. Zhang Hong Zhuang. You don't know me? Zhang Hong Zhuang. Oh, what's the matter? Your son has offended me now. You work at Junhong too, right? I'm telling you, I can make you get lost with just one word. Oh, so impressive. You're from a marketing department. What qualifications do you have to make people get lost so casually? Interesting. Listening to you, you must not have been at Junhong for long, right? You completely don't understand Junhong's internal rules. Let me tell you, Manager Li from the inspection department, Manager Qin from the personnel department, the technical department, the finance department, all departments, we are all on the same side. As long as I want, I can make you get lost casually. I see. I really didn't know that. I haven't paid attention to the company's internal situation for a long time. Listening to you, I really need to pay more attention. Hearing the other person's words, Zhang Hongzhuang looked astonished, thinking, is this person crazy? Didn't he say he works at Junhong? What does haven't paid attention to the company's internal situation mean? Don't talk such nonsense. Do you dare to tell me which department you're from? And your name? Even if you don't say, I'll investigate and find out, believe it or not. Me? I'm not from any department. Oh, if I have to say, it should be the board of directors. Board? Zhang Hongzhuang suddenly froze, his heart trembling uncontrollably. He blinked, his body seeming a bit stiff. When he looked at Zhao Hong still had a leisurely expression, raising his chin slightly, smiling at him. You are. I am Zhou Junyao. Zhou. Chairman. Is it really you? Is it you, Chairman? Chairman. Jing Yu was truly stunned. Her eyes widened in utter disbelief, her mouth agape. She looked at Zhao Hong, completely unable to hide the shock in her heart. She had imagined Zhou Hong's parents had a strong background, even wondered if they were some high-ranking officials. But she never, ever expected Zhou Hong's father to be the chairman of Junhong. No wonder someone like Bai Tsong had to be polite to Zhou Hong and his friends. It turned out the vice president's position wasn't even that high for them, and she had actually thought of getting close to Bai Tsong through Zhou Hong. Getting close to the vice president through the chairman's connections? Wasn't that completely backwards? Manager Zhang Hongzhuang from the marketing department, right? And those people you just mentioned, I will investigate them one by one. Thank you for reminding me that the company has such big problems internally now. Oh no, Chairman, please listen to my explanation. I was joking. Chairman. Chair. Beep beep. Before Zhang Hongzhuang could finish, the call on the other end had already disconnected. Zhang Hongzhuang stood there, stunned, his face blank, eyes wide, mouth agape. He never expected his fall from heaven to hell to be so swift. Zhang Hongzhuang slowly looked at Zhou Hong, who still had a smile on his face, unchanged. He had initially thought this kid was quite foolish, brainless. Now it seemed he was the brainless one. Woo-woo. Zhang Hongzhuang immediately put on a crying face, bent down, squatted, and returned the phone to Zhou Hong. After Zhou Hong took the phone, he stood up with Min Gran beside him, looking like they were about to leave. Hey, brother, don't go. This is all a misunderstanding. I was just talking nonsense earlier. Can you talk to the chairman for me? Zhang Hongzhuang stopped Zhou Hong, his face a mixture of a fawning smile and bitterness, his expression quite a sight. Zhou Hong tilted his head and looked at Zhang Hongzhuang, saying, What misunderstanding? Didn't you say it? You said. What did you say? Honey. Zhou Hong looked at Min Gran beside him. Min Gran directly took out her phone and played a recording. What kind of thing is he want to get close to me? He's not even worthy of polishing my shoes. Do you know what my status is in Junhong? Zhang Hongzhuang's mouth fell open. He really hadn't expected that his word from just now had been recorded. Seeing Zhang Hongzhuang in this predicament, Jing Yu also began to feel a secret satisfaction. Served him right for being so arrogant, looking down on everyone. He probably got used to it, with the higher-ups who could control him not bothering. He must have been swaggering around for too long. This time, his good days were finally over, and those accomplices he exposed would all be implicated by him. Their good days were about to end. Clack! Just then, the restaurant door opened, and Gu Bo rushed in from the entrance. He had been waiting outside, trying to peek through the window to see the situation inside, but it seemed something was wrong. Why were there suddenly 2 more people? And it looked like some kind of conflict had occurred. At this moment, he remembered Jing Yu telling him she had a friend who could help her. This made Gu Bo quickly connect the dots, guessing that Jing Yu must have called them to cause trouble, to disrupt this dinner. So he rushed in, needing to stop their foolish behavior. Gu Bo quickly ran over, directly grabbing Zhang Hongzhuang's arm, and said in a low voice, Manager Zhang, Manager Zhang. Calm down, I'll handle it, I'll handle it. The few of them instantly froze, looking at Gu Bo with blank faces. Except for Jing Yu. None of them knew who this person was. Zhang Hongzhuang didn't speak. Gu Bo walked up to Jing Yu, frowned, and fiercely whispered, I'll deal with you later. After saying that, he turned to Zhao Hong and Mengran. Hey no. Jing Yu wanted to say something, to explain properly, but Gu Bo didn't give Jing Yu a chance at all. You two young people, do you think this is fun? Do you know what you're doing? Can you bear the consequences? Zhao Hong and Mengran exchanged a glance, both showing confused expressions. They didn't even know who this person in front of them was, nor did they understand what he was saying. Gu Bo stood up straight, adjusted his tie, then extended his hand and introduced, This is Manager Zhang from Juanhong. He's not someone you can offend. Leave quickly, before Manager Zhang gets angry. You'll regret it then. It'll be too late. Zhang Hongzhuang stood by, dumbfounded, his mouth wide open, eyes bulging, staring at Gu Bo, thinking, who the hell are you? What are you saying? Hey, brother, young Master Zhou. I don't know him. It has nothing to do with me. This time it was Gu Bo's turn to be stunned, his face freezing instantly. He blinked, his throat feeling like a bone was stuck in it, unable to speak. What was going on? What did young Master Zhou mean? Weren't they invited by Jing Yu to cause trouble? Jing Yu covered her forehead from behind, looking extremely exasperated. It was clearly all over, but he had to come and stir things up again. Zhao Hong tilted his head slightly, looked at Jing Yu. Jing Yu quickly reacted, walked forward, and said softly, I'm sorry. You too. He's my manager and also my uncle. He must have misunderstood something. Gu Bo looked at Jing Yu, his eyes full of confusion, desperately wanting to know where he had gone wrong. Zhang Hongzhuang also spoke up at this moment, looking very eager. This is the son of the chairman of Juanhong Group. He can do whatever he wants. It's not your place to make irresponsible remarks. Forget about letting your model participate in the event. Your company's survival is a matter of a single word from him. This time, not only Gu Bo was shocked, but Zhou Hong also raised an eyebrow, somewhat puzzled, thinking, how could it be as exaggerated as he said? His dad was the chairman, but he wasn't. Could his single word determine their fate? This person's face changed really fast, that arrogant and domineering look from just now. The chairman's son. Gu Bo took 2 steps back, feeling his head heavy, as if he was about to faint. This matter was like a giant hammer hitting his head hard. This is a friend you mentioned? Yes. Gu Bo felt like cursing in his heart. If your friend is such a big shot, why didn't you say so earlier? What's the meaning of deliberately hiding it? Are you trying to make me make a mistake on purpose? Jing Yu also felt quite wronged. She had only just found out about this too, and she knew that even if she had told Gu Bo about this earlier, he wouldn't have believed it. That's just the kind of person he was. Young Master Zhou. Please listen to my explanation. Gu Bo immediately put on a pitiful look, walked forward trying to explain, but Zhou Hong directly raised his hand to stop him. He had seen this kind of demeanor for the second time today. Everyone wanted to explain something to him, but he didn't understand what there was to explain. Were they going to say they were possessed by a ghost just now? All right. No need to explain. I don't care. If there's anything, just tell Jing Yu. We're her friends. We're leaving now. Zhou Hong couldn't be bothered to listen to their explanations. Since there was nothing else, they were also leaving to go rest. No one dared to stop Zhou Hong and his companion from leaving. Zhang Hongzhuang took a step forward and said loudly, I'll see you off. No need. Zhou Hong waved his hand, rejecting Zhang Hongzhuang, and then left the restaurant with Mengran. Zhang Hongzhuang and Gu Bo stood there, watching the two leave, not daring to say anything more. Then, they both turned their heads and focused their gazes on Jing Yu. After all, Zhou Hong had just said, if there was anything, just tell Jing Yu. Jing Yu was their friend. Jing Yu took 2 steps back. Looking at their pleading eyes, she felt nothing good was coming. I have to go back too. If the school gate closes, I won't be able to get back. Bye. So Jing Yu quickly found an excuse and left, not giving them a chance to speak. Jing Yu returned to the dormitory. When she went to bed that night, she couldn't close her eyes. It was mainly because she was too excited. The events of the night were hard for her to digest. Firstly, Zhou Heng's identity. She never expected it to be so extraordinary. She was actually friends with someone like that. She suddenly remembered how on the first day of school, so many classmates had fawned over her. In front of Zhou Hong and his friends, she felt like a clown playing to the gallery. Secondly, this should make the company behave a bit more, right? Stop bullying her. After all, with a friend like Zhou Hong, the company should also be more polite to her. Thinking about it, Jing Yu fell asleep. She slept very soundly this time. A few days later, Jing Yu received a notice. She had reached a cooperation with Zhao Hong and secured the spot. However, it wasn't to cosplay the original game character because it really didn't suit her. They had to add another popular character in the game whose temperament matched hers. It was as if it was specially changed for her, which moved Jing Yu greatly. She was filled with gratitude towards Zhao Hong and Mingran. At the same time, her company also agreed to Zhao Hong's condition. She had now become Zhao Hong's free spokesperson. As long as she was summoned, she would be at their beck and call. This was nothing to her. Many people coveted this position but couldn't get it. At the same time, even more shocking news came from Zhao Hong. It seemed there had been a major reshuffle in the internal management. A new manager had taken office in the inspection department, rumored to be swift and decisive in his work, with no one able to escape his discerning eye. He rooted out Zhang Hongzhuang and all those problematic individuals, thoroughly cleansing the entire Junang. Those with less serious issues were demoted, while people like Zhang Hongzhuang were directly fired. For a time, those who had been subjected to Zhang Hongzhuang's quid pro quo arrangements or bullied by him all sought to settle scores. He had already fled to another region at the earliest opportunity. Jing Yu participated in Zhao Hong's event and received an overwhelmingly positive response, far exceeding expectations. With her own efforts, she elevated the game character she portrayed to a very high status, gaining immense popularity. The photos taken by the media also boosted Jing Yu's popularity even further. Originally a second-tier model, Jing Yu, through this one event, rose to the first tier, her value multiplying several times. At the same time, within her company, she also became the #1 figure. The news that she was friends with the son of Zhao Hong's chairman gradually spread. Now, in the company, everyone had to be mindful of Jing Yu's mood. She also turned down all work except for Zhao Hong's, allowing her to focus on her studies. She had wanted to find an opportunity to properly repay Zhao Hong and Mingran, but they were truly too busy. After that one meeting, she never saw them on campus again. Unless she went to the Zhao Hong building to find them, she couldn't see them at all, and Jing Yu was too embarrassed to bother them again. Time quickly flew by to the day before the winter vacation. On this day, Zhao Hong and Mingran also took a break. They hadn't seen their friends for a long time, so they arranged to have a meal together before the holidays. Tang Ji and Yu Lingxue, as well as Bai Cong and Shun Lini, didn't hesitate for a second upon receiving the news and immediately agreed. When Jing Yu was invited, she was the same. Rather, she had been looking forward to seeing Zhao Hong and Mingran again, having many things she wanted to say to them. I'm going home tomorrow. I feel like I haven't been home in so long. Zhao Hong sat on the chair, gazing at the ceiling, muttering to himself. The home he referred to was the home he shared with his parents, though few people returned there. His parents were busy, and he had moved out on his own early on. A few days ago, Lu Wei had called, asking both of them to return to that home. It was said that the family would spend New Year's together this year, which made Zhao Hong find it a bit hard to believe. In his memory, they always seemed to spend New Year's at Tang Ji's house. It felt like many years since the whole family had spent it at home together. It's a deal. You have to show me your room when we get back. I want to see it. Mingran leaned on Zhao Hong's shoulder, smiling. This was her first time going to Zhao Hong's home, and she was going to spend New Year's with his family. She was very excited. All right, but maybe there's nothing in my room, ha ha ha. I haven't been back in so long. Besides, isn't my room your room too? Zhao Hong gently stroked Mingran's head. The two of them had finally made it through the semester. It had been extremely tiring, and now they could finally rest for a while. Hello, we're here. Just then, Tang Ji, Yu Lingxue, Jing Yu, and Shun Lini walked in together from outside the private room door. The four of them had come from the dormitory together. Upon receiving the news, they had packed up and rushed over as quickly as possible. All four had dressed up a little, but not ostentatiously. They all knew in their hearts that it was okay to dress up, but they absolutely couldn't outshine Mingran. It was like an unwritten rule among them. You're here, sit. Mingran quickly stood up and gestured for the four of them to sit down. Although Mingran still treated them as good friends, they all knew that even though they were friends, they still had to be mindful of the difference in status. This was unchangeable. Even their seating arrangement had some unspoken rules. Long time no see, you two busy bees. Long time no see. How have you all been lately? Tang Ji and Shun Lini were closest to Zhao Hong and Mingran and started chatting after sitting down. Next to Tang Ji were Yu Lingxue and Jing Yu in order, who could only interject a few words from where they sat. Sorry, I'm late. After a few minutes, Bai Cong also arrived and sat in the seat opposite Yu Lingxue. Zhao Hong and his group had only invited these few people, So once everyone had arrived, they prepared to order food and eat. Just then, Baitsong received a phone call. After stepping out to answer it, Baitsong returned to look at Zhao Hong, an embarrassed expression on his face, and asked in a low voice, can I bring a friend? You all know her. Who is it? Zhao Hong frowned and asked in surprise. Ahem. Tong Yining. As soon as Baitsong said this, Tang Ji and Yu Lingxue opposite him instantly frowned, staring intently at Baitsong, their faces serious. Zhao Hong and Min Gran exchanged a glance. They didn't really mind. Anyway, they had no grudges with Tong Yining anymore. When they met her while out playing last time, they had become friends again. They just didn't expect Baitsong to be so close to her. Could the two of them be dating? It's fine. Ask her to come along. We're all friends. Baitsong quickly thanked her and then notified Tong Yining to come. Then I'll wait for her at the entrance. She'll be here soon. You guys eat first, okay? Baitsong stood up, preparing to wait for Tong Yining outside the restaurant. After Baitsong went out, Yu Lingxue also quickly followed him. Hey, outside the restaurant. Yu Lingxue called out to Baitsong and patted his shoulder. Baitsong turned around, frowned at Yu Lingxue, and asked, what is it? Are you sick? Zhao Hong and the others kindly invited you to dinner, treating you as a friend. Why are you bringing someone else? And of all people, you bring Tong Yining? Don't you know the history between Tong Yining, Zhao Hong, and Min Gran? Yu Lingxue crossed her arms and questioned him coldly. Baitsong nodded lightly and replied, I know very well. Then why are you still so close to her? And bringing her to dinner? What, did she turn you straight? Pa, what are you talking about? If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. It's none of your business. Yu Lingxue, arms crossed, tilted her chin up and asked, Oh, then tell me, what's your motive? Baitsong fell silent for a few seconds, his eyes narrowing, a cold glint flashing within. His tone also turned icy as he said, word by word, the first time I met her, I decided, I will avenge Zhao Hong. I will make her fall hopelessly in love with me. And then, I will cruelly abandon her. Let her experience the feeling of going from hope to despair. After Yu Lingxue heard this, she was stunned for a few seconds, as if she couldn't believe her ears, wondering if she had misheard. Huh? You're not joking, are you? You're joking, right? Yu Lingxue still couldn't quite believe that these words came from Baitsong's mouth. Or rather, she simply couldn't believe a normal adult could say such things. I'm not joking. I'm serious. I've been carrying out this plan for a long time. She actually believed I would like her, Baitsong said it with a straight face, his expression also very serious, and even let out a cold laugh, forcing Yu Lingxue to believe that Baitsong was indeed serious. Yu Lingxue could understand. The last time she learned that Baitsong and Tong Yining were very close, she found a bit strange. Setting aside Baitsong's sexual orientation, just considering the many attractive girls Baitsong had encountered without being moved, it was indeed impossible for Tong Yining alone to make Baitsong fall for her. Yu Lingxue still didn't understand why Baitsong wanted to bully Tong Yining like this. The two of them clearly had no entanglement. No, even Zhao Hong and Min Gran don't mind anymore. Why are you stirring things up? How did she offend you? Baitsong glared at Yu Lingxue and said seriously, she dared to reject Zhao Hong. I just don't like her. So what? She must pay the price. Zhao Hong is so good. Why did she reject him? Are you a bit slow in the head? If she hadn't rejected Zhao Hong wouldn't have met Min Gran. Isn't Min Gran 100 times better than her? This isn't a bad thing for Zhao Hong. Makes sense. But that's still not okay. Rejecting Zhao Hong is not okay. She must be punished for this. I won't forgive her. Baitsong's determination didn't waver in the slightest. The thought that a man like Zhao Hong, whom most people could only dream of, was cruelly rejected by this woman Tong Yining so many times, filled him with rage, making him feel like he wanted to strangle Tong Yining. Suit yourself. I don't care. Just don't go too far. It'll be hard to clean up if it implicates Zhao Hong and Min Gran. Yu Lingxue rolled her eyes at him, ignored him, and went back into the restaurant. She just wanted to figure out what Baitsong was up to. Beyond that, she didn't want to meddle. Baitsong stood at the entrance, looking at his phone, waiting for Tong Yining. Since they parted at the hotel last time, they had often contacted each other and even gone out a few times. Baitsong had also spent a lot of money on her, at least what Tong Yining would consider a lot. But for Baitsong, this amount of money was no different from giving alms to a beggar, and their progress had always remained at the hand-holding stage. Baitsong absolutely did not want to go any further. He was psychologically and physiologically very resistant. However, Tong Yining thought he was respecting her, which was why he hadn't done anything to her. and she liked Bai Song even more. Just now they were still chatting. Tong Yining knew that after the holidays started, she would have to go home and might not see Bai Song for a month or two. That's why she took the initiative to contact Bai Song, wanting to see him. When she learned he was having dinner with Zhao Hong and the others, she initially thought of forgetting it, but Bai Song insisted she come, saying Zhao Hong and the others had agreed. So Tong Yining came. After waiting at the entrance for about 10 minutes, Bai Song heard a call. Bai Song. Bai Song looked up and saw Tong Yining jogging towards him, waving, a joyful smile on her face, her eyes shining as if with light. Dressed in a cotton jacket and a scarf, under the bright streetlights, she looked very pure and cute. Most people would surely be moved by this sight, but it had no effect on an unusual person like Bai Song. His heart was completely unmoved. He couldn't even manage a smile. He just wanted to end this drama quickly, to brutally retaliate against Tong Yining and make her pay a painful price. He had someone he liked. He wasn't willing to continue this nonsense with this boring woman. Sorry, I'm late, kept you waiting. I thought I'd bring something, so I was a bit delayed. Tong Yining was carrying something in her hand. It was dessert she had bought from a pastry shop on the way, to share with everyone. It's okay. Everyone's waiting for you. A smile appeared on Bai Song's face, showing no trace of pretense, looking very gentle and kind. The two of them walked into the restaurant together, but they didn't notice that around the corner, a pair of eyes had been staring at them. When Tong Yining arrived, those eyes almost spewed fire, clearly visible anger. Bai Song, you dare to lie to me, and I trusted you so much. This person angrily punched the wall, gritting his teeth, looking extremely furious. He was a boy, tall and rather well-built, also quite handsome, though his overall demeanor seemed to exude a hint of effeminacy. This person, named Qin Kun, had, just over a month ago, been deeply in love with the department beauty, Shun Lini. After the singer competition ended, he mustered the courage to confess, only to be brutally rejected. When he was disheartened, Bai Song appeared, like a ray of light shining into his gloomy world. They drank a lot of wine together, talked for a long time. Bai Song also took him out to relax, took him to play, and bought him many things. They were more than just friends. Slowly, a strange affection seemed to develop between them. He was well aware of this, and at the same time began to doubt himself. As a boy, was it a bit wrong to fall for another boy? But Bai Song comforted him for a long time, saying that this was very normal in today's society. No need to view it with prejudice. He also said that being with him would definitely be happier than being with a woman. Isn't life about obtaining happiness? So what's the difference between being with a girl or a boy? He believed Bai Song's words, and gradually accepted the fact that he had been bent. But suddenly one day, he noticed that Bai Song's world included a girl. Sometimes when they went out together, Bai Song would be looking at his phone, replying to messages. When he asked who it was, Bai Song would just brush it off, saying it wasn't important. His suspicion grew stronger. Finally, today he followed him out and indeed saw what he suspected. Bai Song, you bastard. I will make you pay the price. Before Qin Kun could finish his sentence, another boy's voice suddenly came from the other side, perfectly finishing his thought. He looked up and saw the boy over there also looking at him. Two boys face to face, looking puzzled. This young man, named Su Pengyi, had been deeply in love with Tang Ji just over a month ago. But one day, after losing a bet with Tang Ji, he learned that he could never be with her. Disheartened, he returned to his dormitory like a walking corpse. Fortunately, upon his return, he received warm comfort from a roommate. This roommate was Bai Song. They drank a lot of wine together, talked for a long time. Bai Song also took him out to relax, to play, and bought him many things. And then, after experiencing something quite similar to what Qin Kun went through, he became like this. Su Pengyi and Qin Kun stared at each other for a long time, as if communicating with their eyes. Could it be you? Are you also? The two spoke in unison, pointing at each other. At this moment, it seemed they understood everything. Both of them had the same kind of relationship with Bai Song. At the same time, their purpose for being here was also the same. The two took a step forward, gradually approaching each other, then tacitly extended their hands and shook. What's your name? Su Pengyi. Qin Kun. Wait together. All right. A brief exchange of a few words brought the two of them onto a united front. They stood together, staring intently at the restaurant, quietly waiting for Bai Song to come out. Phew! Inside the restaurant, Bai Song suddenly shivered, a cold chill running down his spine. He rubbed his arms. What's wrong? Tong Yining looked at him with concern and asked. Nothing. Maybe I'm not wearing enough, a bit cold. Bai Song glanced back, finding no one behind him. But why did it feel like a wave of coldness had just come from behind, drilling straight into his head? The two arrived at the private room. The people inside saw them return and stopped their conversation, their gazes focusing on them. I'm late. Long time no see, everyone. Tong Yining mustered her courage and took the initiative to greet them. Her little face was flushed, whether from the cold or embarrassment, it was hard to tell. Yimin Gran quickly stood up to welcome her. Long time no see. Please sit, please sit. You know all these people. This one you don't know, right? My and Zhao Hong's older sister, Shunlini. Hello, sister. My name is Tong Yining. I'm high school classmates with Yimin Gran and the others. Tong Yining nodded and greeted Shunlini. Shunlini was much better now and nodded in response. If this had been before, she wouldn't have reacted at all to meeting a stranger. And this one you should. No. Yimin Gran then pointed to Jing Yu and asked softly. When Tong Yining saw Jing Yu, she was slightly stunned at first. Her initial reaction was surprise at Jing Yu's beauty. So pretty, like a celebrity. Looking closer, something fell off. This seemed to actually be a celebrity. Jing Yu. Is it? A celebrity? A real celebrity? Hello. Nice to meet you. I'm not really a celebrity. We're all friends. Nice to meet you. Jing Yu stood up, shook Tong Yining's hand, and greeted her humbly, without any airs. After all, in front of these people, putting on airs was no different from courting death. Tong Yining, however, was very excited, shaking hands with a celebrity for the first time. On second thought, in front of people like Zhao Hong and Bai Tsong, was her reaction a bit over the top? She now knew that Zhao Hong and Bai Tsong's backgrounds were not simple. Knowing a celebrity like Jing Yu was probably not a big deal. But for an ordinary person like her, it was still a bit shocking. She even wanted to take out her phone for a photo to post on her moments. All right, sit down quickly. Everyone's here, so we can start serving the food, okay? Soon, the group was eating and chatting together. Tong Yining was a bit reserved at first, but Yimin Gran took good care of her, and she gradually began to relax. We really didn't expect you two to get so close. We were all shocked at the hotel that time. Yimin Gran pointed at Tong Yining and Bai Tsong, shaking her head as she spoke. This. Tong Yining awkwardly scratched her head, too embarrassed to speak. At that time, she was as if possessed. Bai Tsong seemed to have a magical power that made people irresistibly lower their guard around him. Zhao Hong looked at the two of them with great interest, smiled, and asked, Are you two together? It seemed a bit strange for him to ask this question, considering he had pursued Tong Yining for a long time in high school without success. But now he asked this question as if gossiping, probably having forgotten about the past himself. Tong Yining was stunned when asked. Anyone else asking this question would be fine, but when Zhao Hong asked, it made her extremely embarrassed. So she turned to look at Bai Tsong, hoping he could answer this question. After all, she herself didn't know how to answer. Were they together or not? She also wanted to know. They had gone on many dates, talked a lot, and even held hands. Wasn't that considered being together? It was no different from a normal couple, right? Bai Tsong had been smiling faintly. Seeing Tong Yining cast her gaze towards him, he understood and took over the question, replying, That depends on Tong Tong's intentions. My intentions, I believe she should be able to feel them, right? Perhaps. It still needs a word of acknowledgement from Tong Tong herself. Oh, I see. Then you two are just separated by a thin layer of paper now. Zhao Hong and Yimin Gran successfully got their gossip, their tones excited, looking like a happy couple enjoying the drama. TSK, beside them, Ling Xue and Tang Ji both looked at Bai Tsong with a hint of disdain. This guy was just acting now. Anyone familiar with him could see it at a glance. Hearing this, Tong Yining also lowered her head, her ears turning red. She could understand Bai Tsong's meaning. Bai Tsong had already taken 99 steps toward her. He hoped she could take that final step to acknowledge their relationship. Tong Yining didn't object. She thought so too. That's why she came today, to confirm her relationship with Bai Tsong. She made up her mind. After the dinner, she would tell Bai Tsong directly. Bai Tsong's eyes glanced towards Tong Yining, a sinister smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. This was all part of his plan, to lure Tong Yining into confessing after the dinner. Then his plan would be complete. I wonder what her reaction will be then. She should be able to experience what Zhao Hong felt, right? I'm really looking forward to after the dinner. So, Uncle and Auntie will both be home for New Year's this year? That's really great. Your whole family hasn't spent New Year's together in a long time, right? Yeah, the last time was probably when I was a kid. Zhao Hong recalled the last New Year's. The memory was already very vague. He couldn't even remember which year it was. Back then, their home wasn't very big. Later, the home got bigger and bigger, but the people in it became fewer and fewer. Tang Ji, You and older sister, would you like to come too? It's more lively when we all play together. Min Gran invited Tang, Ji, and Shunlini. After all, they were both Zhou Heng's relatives, and Zhou Hong often spent New Year's at Tang Ji's house, so it was appropriate to invite them. Although they both wanted to go, they also understood the need to give Zhou Heng's family time to reunite. They'd go play a few days later. We can go a few days later. We also have to spend New Year's at home, right, sis? Yes, that's right. We'll visit you after New Year's. Tang Ji and Shun Lini reached a consensus, allowing Zhou Heng's family time to reunite. All right, what about those two? When we go back, we should find them and hang out together. Zhou Hong suddenly thought of two people, glanced at Min Gran, and Min Gran also remembered. That couple, Liao Hao and Zhu Tao. They would also be going home for the holidays, so they could call them out to play together then. All right, it's about time. Let's go back. We still have to pack our luggage tomorrow. Zhou Hong stood up, announcing the end of the dinner. Only when Zhou Hong spoke did the others dare to leave. Otherwise, no one would have gotten up, all waiting for Zhou Hong. Baicang had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Soon, he would be able to bring his plan to a perfect conclusion. Everyone stood up, put on their clothes, and prepared to leave the restaurant. At the entrance, Baicang said goodbye to everyone, saying he had to safely escort Tong Yining back first, and then he would return to school. After everyone had left, Baicang and Tong Yining slowly walked away. He didn't choose to drive her back, but opted for a walk, precisely to give her time to prepare to confess to him. And Tong Yining thought Baicang wanted to spend more time with her, so she didn't say anything, just walked beside Baicang. Tong Yining stared at Baicang's back, many thoughts running through her mind. She felt a little unconfident. Even though Baicang's intentions were so obvious, she was still a bit timid. What qualifications did she have to be his girlfriend? It was just like when she rejected Zhou Hong. Perhaps someone like her was simply not suited for dating. Her fantasies of being loved might just be the regretful emotions after rejecting Zhou Hong. No matter what, I should still try. Life can't always be full of regrets. Anyway, I have nothing to fear missing out on. Tong Yining secretly made up her mind. Regardless of the outcome, success or failure, she would be brave just this once. The next second, Tong Yining spoke, calling out to Baicang. Hearing her voice, Baicang immediately stopped, a smile involuntarily appearing on his lips. Finally, she took the bait. After enduring so much, finally, his plan was coming to fruition. He could avenge Zhou Hong. Actually, the main thing was to relieve his own pent-up anger. He instantly changed his expression, his face full of gentleness and affection, then turned around and asked softly, "What's wrong?" Just as he turned around and spoke, his eyes suddenly saw two people who had appeared behind Tong Yining at some point. He looked up, and in his confusion, he recognized who those two people were. His eyes widened instantly, and a chill ran down his spine. "Excuse me, beautiful." Qin Kuan and Su Pengyi placed a hand on Tong Yining's shoulder, startling her. She turned around to see two boys behind her. "We have some personal grudges with him. Could you please leave first? I don't know what you want to say to him, but you've definitely been deceived by him. Do you know this guy likes men?" Qin Kuan and Su Pengyi said one sentence each, leaving Tong Yining stunned, her mind instantly blank. And Baicang's face turned green, looking as ugly as could be, but his tongue felt tied, unable to utter a word. "Look, he bought this bracelet for you, right? We have one too." Su Pengyi lifted Tong Yining's wrist, where a delicate bracelet was worn. He and Qin Kuan also had one on their wrists, just different styles, but from the same brand. Tong Yining was completely dumbfounded. Just now she thought something absurd was happening, but now, a doubt really arose in her mind. Baicang likes men? How could that be? Then how could he explain his actions toward her? Did he deceive her? For what? She hadn't lost anything. "Let me show you a photo." Qin Kuan suddenly took out his phone, opened the photo album, and handed it to Tong Yining. On it was a photo of himself and Baicang, but the photo was a bit indecent. Ugh! Tong Yining immediately gagged, almost throwing up. This photo was too disgusting. If it wasn't photoshopped, it was truly nauseating. She would find it a bit much even if a normal couple took such photos, let alone two men. "Here, chat logs." Su Pengyi also took out his phone and showed it to Tong Yining. On it were his chat logs with Baicang. Tong Yining only glanced at them briefly. The thought that these were chat logs between two men instantly disgusted her. I'm feeling a bit unwell. You guys talk. I'll be going now." Tong Yining quickly waved her hands, clutching her stomach, wanting to leave. Things were developing a bit out of control. An ordinary person like her couldn't handle it here. Tong Yining walked past Bai Tsong, maintaining a considerable distance from him, as if she didn't want to get close. After taking a few steps, Tong Yining suddenly remembered something, quickly turned back, walked over, and returned to Bai Tsong. What I wanted to say just now was, you take the back. And, nothing happened between us. It was all a misunderstanding. It was nice knowing you, and I don't understand, but I respect you, and I wish you both happiness, okay? Bye. Tong Yining returned all the things Bai Tsong had bought for her, handing them to Bai Tsong with just 2 fingers, as if she had touched something dirty. After leaving, she kept rubbing her palms. Tong Yining practically fled, disappearing in an instant. She figured she shouldn't even try to sleep tonight. If she did, she'd definitely have nightmares, filled with everything she'd just seen. Only after Tong Yining was completely gone did Bai Tsong come to his senses. He stared at the 2 men before him, frowning deeply, and said in a low voice, "What are you trying to do? Why are you ruining my plans? You've misunderstood. She and I are just..." "What misunderstanding? The 2 of us have already discussed it. Tell us, what misunderstanding is there?" Qin Kun pointed to himself, and Su Pengyi, his face full of anger. Bai Tsong was momentarily speechless. His situation with Tong Yining was indeed a misunderstanding, but with these 2, his 2 timing had indeed been discovered by them. "Then what do you want?" Bai Tsong saw the 2 gradually approaching and instantly felt a bad premonition. He retreated several steps, his throat bobbing, looking very nervous. "We can't turn back anymore. You've already changed our future." "Yes, but it doesn't change the fact that we deeply loved each other." Qin Kun and Su Pengyi continued to approach, their eyes glinting with murderous intent. After a moment, tears actually welled up in their eyes. Hey, what are you doing? Calm down." Bai Tsong shrank back, terrified, retreating continuously, his face pale, his lips trembling. He thought he saw. It looked like the 2 of them were holding weapons. "Don't worry. After we kill you, we'll turn ourselves in." Bai Tsong felt a cold shiver run down his spine, his limbs stiffening at a visible rate. What's wrong, honey?" Yimin Gran opened her eyes early in the morning to see Zhao Hong hurriedly getting dressed and packing, looking like he was about to go somewhere. Yimin Gran sat up, adjusted her pajamas, rubbed her eyes, somewhat surprised. Zhao Hong frowned slightly, his expression serious, and said, "It seems Bai Tsong is hospitalized. He was admitted to the emergency room last night." What happened?" Yimin Gran was instantly wide awake, her eyes wide with astonishment, a look of disbelief on her face. At the same time, a certain person came to mind. "Tong Yining, weren't they together last night? What happened afterwards? How did he end up in the hospital?" I heard Tang Ji say on the phone. "Things are a tad complicated." Zhao Hong hadn't even fully woken up when he received Tang Ji's call. Listening to what Tang Ji said on the phone, he even wondered if he was still dreaming. If what he heard was just dream talk. What did she mean by? Bai Tsong's 2 boyfriends suspected he was getting a girlfriend and intended to kill him. He mulled it over in his head for a long time, but couldn't make sense of that sentence. Was this still Chinese? Should I go with you then? It's okay, no need. I hear it's nothing serious now. I'm just going to check on him. Zhao Hong waved his hand, then grabbed his things and prepared to leave. "Okay, then call me if anything happens." "Got it." After Zhao Hong left, he reached the hospital as quickly as possible. Tang Ji was waiting for Zhao Hong at the entrance. Seeing him arrive, she waved. "I'm here. What's the situation? Wasn't he with Tong Yining last night when he left?" Zhao Hong asked as he followed Tang Ji into the hospital. It's a bit complicated. Let me tell you a secret first. Don't be surprised after you hear it." "Okay." "What's secret?" "It's just, Bai Tsong is actually bisexual. He can like women, but he prefers men more." Question mark. Zhao Hong froze on the spot, standing there with a bewildered look. He suspected something was wrong with his ears. How could he be hearing things he couldn't understand so early in the morning? "What? Likes men?" "Yeah, likes men." Tang Ji pursed her lips, looked at Zhao Hong, nodded, and said somewhat awkwardly, "Oh my God." Zhao Hong couldn't help but be shocked. The thought of himself and a gay man having lived together, his butthole clenched instantly. Luckily, that guy hadn't done anything to him, otherwise he would probably be the one responsible for his hospitalization. And then, he had 2 boyfriends at the same time in college. These 2 are also quite special. One is Qin Kun, who previously pursued Sister Shenlini, and the other is Su Pengyi. All right, I'm not really shocked by anything I hear now. And then, how did he end up in the hospital? Zhao Hong felt like his brain couldn't handle these complicated matters anymore. so he decided to just give up trying to process it all and just listen to whatever Tang Ji said. Last night, he was with Tong Yining, and then those two showed up, chased Tong Yining away, and seemed to have a somewhat pathological affection for Bai Song. They were changed by Bai Song. Now they misunderstand that he's involved with other girls, so they feel betrayed, and then they wanted to kill Bai Song. So, extreme? Damn. Bai Song is tough too. Facing an attack from two men, he actually managed to knock them down. What happened after that? We don't know. We only know he ended up with many injuries, lost a lot of blood. Luckily, no vital organs were hit. He was sent to the emergency room yesterday, and after the bleeding was stopped in time, he was out of danger. I see. What about those two? Were they arrested? They turned themselves in last night, and then this morning, Bai Song's father bailed them out. Why? Actually, his father is quite grateful to them. Because of this incident, Bai Song seems to have developed some psychological trauma towards liking men. He'll only like women from now on. They straightened him out? It seems so. His father had been worrying about this matter, and now it's finally resolved. Plus, it wasn't anything too serious, so his father signed a letter of understanding and bailed those two out. As they spoke, the two arrived at the door of a hospital room. Tang Ji knocked gently twice, then opened the door. Zhao Hong followed Tang Ji in. Before Zhao Hong could even clearly see Bai Song on the hospital bed, Bai Song shivered, and his bandaged body tried to sit up, a look of terror on his face. Hey, don't move. It's Zhao Hong. Zhao Hong is here to see you. What are you afraid of? Yu Lingxue, who was beside him, quickly stopped him, preventing him from moving recklessly, and pointed to Zhao Hong behind her. Zhao Hong's mouth twitched, and he muttered, Is it that serious? He's even afraid of men now. How are you doing? Are you okay? Zhao Hong stood by the hospital bed, looking at Bai Song, and asked softly, I'm fine. Bai Song replied in a small voice, but he didn't dare to look Zhao Hong in the eyes. Zhao Hong found it strange and whispered to Yu Lingxue beside him. What's wrong with him? Yu Lingxue shook her head and said, I don't know. He's been like this since he arrived today. The doctor said he might have suffered some kind of shock and might need to rest for a while to recover. I see. That's rough. I'll go buy some food. Tang Ji stood up and walked out, planning to buy some food. They had all come early in the morning and hadn't eaten yet. After Tang Ji left, a while later, click, the door to the hospital room suddenly opened, and a man walked in. Seeing the few people present, he first paused slightly, then looked at Zhao Hong. Seeing the man, Yu Lingxue immediately stood up, bowed, and greeted, Hello, Uncle Bai. Xiao Xue, hello. Thank you for coming to see Bai Song. The man walked into the hospital room, came to the bedside, turned to look at Zhao Hong. Yu Lingxue immediately understood and introduced. Zhao Hong, this is Bai Song's father. I know. The man nodded, raising his hand to interrupt Yu Lingxue. Zhao Hong also quickly greeted politely, Hello, Uncle Bai. Hello. The man squinted, smiled, and stared at Zhao Hong's face. After a moment, he muttered softly, so similar. Father. Bai Song lay on the bed and called out, his voice filled with shame and regret. The man glanced at him, sighed helplessly, and said, Sigh, talk less, rest well. Zhao Hong and I will go outside to chat for a bit. Zhao Hong was taken aback, not understanding why he wanted to chat with him outside. Thinking about Bai Song being gay before. This shouldn't be hereditary, right? But despite his confusion, he couldn't very well refuse, so he followed the man out of the hospital room. They went to a designated smoking area in a hospital. Then, the man took out a pack of what looked like very good cigarettes, offered one to Zhao Hong, and asked, Do you smoke? Zhao Hong immediately shook his head and said, Oh no, I don't. Thank you. All right. The man lit one, put it to his lips, took a drag, and exhaled a plume of smoke upwards. My name is Bai Zhang. You probably don't know my identity, do you? They probably didn't tell you. Aren't you Bai Song's father? Oh, and the boss of many companies, I do know that. Bai Zhongji's lips curved upwards. He smiled at Zhao Hong and said, My father and I are colleagues. Did you know that? I really didn't know. Zhao Hong was suddenly stunned, a surprised expression on his face. Then he gently shook his head. Hey, I'm the vice president of Jiuanhong. I received a lot of help from your father. We're very good friends. I see. I really didn't know that. My apologies, President Bai. Zhao Hong only knew that Bai Song's father was very powerful, the boss of many companies, but he didn't expect him to also be the VP of Jiuanhong. But could it be such a coincidence that he would coincidentally know the VP's son? And didn't he transfer to his high school later? Could it be that he already knew his identity and deliberately transferred? Otherwise, with his status, why would he go to that high school? Eh. Zhao Hong suddenly thought, Bai Tsong and Yu Lingxue transfer together. Uncle. Bai, can I ask a question? Is Yu Lingxue also? Juanheng's other vice president, Yu Yinghai, President Yu, is her father. Oh, no wonder. Now it all makes sense. So their sudden transfer to my high school, was it? Yes, it was to get close to you. They knew long ago that you would become your father's successor, so their initial approach to you was for benefits, to become your future secretary. That a very good job, with many benefits, and most importantly, it could help me and Yu Yinghai expand our advantage in Juanheng. I see. Zhao Hong found it a bit hard to accept for a moment. Now, their strange behavior at the beginning finally had an explanation. What he couldn't accept was that they had pretended to be his friends for profit without his knowledge. But their later behavior didn't seem like an act. They really seemed like his true friends. Why did you tell me all this? Bai Zhengji took a long drag from his cigarette, slowly exhaled, and said, because I won't let Bai Tsong continue to participate in any competition, nor will I require him to enter Juanheng in the future. This child has suffered a lot since he was young, forced by me to undergo very strict training every day to cultivate him into an elite. Perhaps it was in that environment that he changed, developed different ideas. Bai Zhengji extinguished his cigarette and continued, I've also thought it through. I don't need him to become exceptionally outstanding. A stable and peaceful life in the future will be fine. Zhao Hong looked at Bai Zhengji, remained silent for a moment, then said, You are a very good father. Bai Zhengji laughed and said, Although we won't participate in any competition, it's inevitable that others. You mean Yu Lingxue? But she... No. Xiao Shu, I know this child. She's a good kid. You should have also noticed various signs indicate that she has given up competing with Bai Tsong. It's a good thing she pulled back from the brink. The child is a good child, but the father isn't necessarily a good father. Zhou Heng's brows furrowed tightly. His voice became very low. You mean? Bai Zhengji nodded and said, In the future, be careful of Yu Yinghai. He has many evil intentions. After you take over your father's position, when you haven't yet found your footing and are still relatively young, he will definitely pose a threat to you. He climbed up by stepping on others. Zhou Hong sucked in a sharp breath and replied softly, I understand. Bai Zhengji patted Zhou Heng's shoulder, a gratified smile on his face. Remember, make yourself stronger, build connections, establish your own network within Juanheng in advance, and don't let some petty people do things that harm Juanheng. Zhou Hong looked up, saw Bai Zhengji smile, and his originally very stressed mood instantly eased a lot. Understood. It's truly a blessing for Juanheng to have you as a vice president. I'm back. Zhou Hong pushed open the door and walked in. Yin Mingran was already packing her luggage and had also cleaned the house spotless. You're back? So quick. How did it go? Yin Mingran asked while folding clothes. Zhou Hong thought for a moment, feeling his mind was a bit jumbled, and said, Well, he's fine, but things are quite complicated. I'll tell you later. Let's pack first. Tang Ji has already finished packing. She said she'll drive to the entrance to wait for us and then drive us back. Okay, I'm almost done packing. I only took some clothes to wear. We have way too many clothes. Yin Mingran looked at their wardrobe, which was full of clothes. She and Zhou Hong each had a wardrobe, both completely full. Because Zhou Hong always wanted to buy Yin Mingran all sorts of beautiful clothes. He just felt Yin Mingran looked good in everything, so he bought a lot. And Yin Mingran was the same, never thinking she bought too many or too expensive clothes for Zhou Hong. Zhou Hong walked over, sat on the sofa, then pulled Yin Mingran into his arms and whispered in her ear, Who said that? I don't think it's that much. I always feel like you have no clothes to wear again. I need to buy you a few more pieces. No more. Buying so many is just a waste of money. I can't wear them all. If you buy for me, I'll buy for you too. Yin Mingran leaned against Zhou Heng's chest and said softly. Zhou Hong pursed his lips, fell silent for a moment, then tentatively whispered, then, Buy something different. Just one look from Zhou Hong, and Yin Mingran completely understood. A faint blush appeared on her cheeks. As you wish. Okay. I'll buy it right away. SF Express, Urgent Express, cash on delivery. I'll go pack first. Yin Mingran's ears turned completely red, her face hot. She quickly got up and continued packing. By the time the two of them finished packing, it was already afternoon. After Tang Ji received the call, she immediately came out of the dormitory and drove to wait for them. Zhou Hong and Yin Mingran put all their luggage in the car and then sat in the back. You still remember how to get to my place, right? Of course, I used to go there often, okay? Tang Ji shrugged, then started the car and left the school. Yu Lingxue, Jing Yu, and Shun Lini had already left, each going home to rest and prepare for the new year. They had also agreed to hang out together after the new year. Min Gran leaned on Zhao Hong's shoulder, looking at the snowy scenery outside the window, smiling faintly. It's New Year's again. Another new year. She had really experienced so much this past year, the ups and downs of life. The three in the car listened to music, chatted. It was fast once they got on the highway, but the distance was still quite far. Tang Ji drove on the highway for about 4 hours before exiting. Another half-hour passed before they arrived at Zhao Hong's house, which was a villa. When Zhao Hong was young, he knew his family should be quite wealthy. This villa would cost at least a few million, right? But his imagination wasn't that rich. He thought they should be quite wealthy, but he didn't expect them to be that wealthy. It was already past 6 in the evening. Winter nights were already very dark. After Zhao Hong got out of the car, he knocked on Tang Ji's car door and said, "Stay here for the night. Leave tomorrow morning. It's too late to drive, it's unsafe, and besides, driving for so long is tiring." Okay. Tang Ji didn't refuse, feeling Zhao Hong was right. If she drove home now, it would be past 9 by the time she arrived. It was too late, she was tired, and she hadn't eaten. Tang Ji also got out of the car, helped Zhao Hong and Min Gran with their luggage, and walked into the house. It was very dark inside. When Zhao Hong turned on the lights, it became very bright. Exquisite decoration, elegant and tasteful furnishings. The first floor was the living room, with antique brown tables and chairs arranged beautifully. "Looks like someone came to clean." Zhao Hong glanced around. The house had clearly been cleaned recently. It was very clean, not looking like it had been uninhabited for a long time. It was also Min Gran's first time in such a home. She looked around, curious about everything. "Let's go upstairs. My room is upstairs." Zhao Hong led the two upstairs, then arranged a room for Tang Ji to stay in, and then led Min Gran to her room, pushed open the door, and walked in. Min Gran saw that the room was very tidy, but there were very few things. It was clear that no one had lived in this room for a long time. A large bed, the quilt on it neatly folded, all brand new. The things on the table were not various books, but various things related to games. Disappointed? My room is pretty boring. Zhao Hong put the luggage aside and said to Min Gran with a smile. Not at all. Min Gran shook her head, not thinking so at all. Instead, she looked around curiously. Then, she noticed a few photos on the table. She walked over, picked one up, and her eyes lit up instantly. Honey, is this you when you were little?" Zhao Hong walked over, squinted at it, then nodded awkwardly and said, yes. I was probably 5 or 6 then. The boy in the photo was very thin, very short, completely different from the current Zhao Hong. But from his features, you could tell it was him. His expression was also a bit fierce, but because he was a child, no matter how fierce, it couldn't be that fierce, so he looked very cute. "Wow, so cute. You were already fierce back then." Min Gran sat on the chair, looking at the photo, her eyes sparkling. "Where was I fierce?" Zhao Hong muttered under his breath, stood next to Min Gran, glanced at his photo, and it did seem a bit fierce. And this one, Min Gran saw another photo, picked it up, and looked at it with Zhao Hong. Soon, both of them pursed their lips, as if trying to suppress laughter. Finally, the two couldn't help but burst out laughing. There were 2 people in the photo, a boy and a girl. The boy stood in front, holding a basketball, a victorious smile on his face, and pointing a finger behind him. The girl behind him had long hair, her clothes were dirty, her mouth was wide open, and she was wailing. You could tell at a glance it was Zhao Hong and Tang Ji. At this moment, Tang Ji arrived at the door of Zhao Hong's room. Hearing the two laughing inside, she was somewhat surprised and knocked gently on the door. "Hey, aren't you guys hungry? Are we still having dinner?" Early the next morning, Tang Ji left and went home. Zhao Hong and Min Gran only opened their eyes around 10 in the morning, because they had been so tired this semester. Once they could completely relax, they couldn't help but sleep in a little. When they opened their eyes, they looked at each other, and only after making eye contact did they smile. "Morning, honey. Sleep a little longer. We don't have much to do these few days. We can rest well. When will Mom and Dad be back? Any news? Them? It'll be good if they can make it back on New Year's Day. New Year's is still about a week away." Zhao Hong lay in bed, looking at the ceiling, his thoughts drifting back many years to when he was still in middle school, lying in bed, contemplating life. Now, so many years later, lying here again, holding the person he loved most in his arms, he felt there was nothing left to contemplate about life. Life was already very clear. "Then I'll get up and make you breakfast. It's a bit late for breakfast at this time. Let's just have it as lunch." Min Gran was about to sit up when Zhao Hong stopped her again, pulled her into his arms, and tucked her in. I told you to rest a little longer. Anyway, it's too late for breakfast, so let's skip it. We'll go out for lunch. I'll take you to a restaurant I used to frequent when I was at home. I just don't know if it's still open. All right, I know. Min Gran, with an air of indulgence, hugged Zhao Heng's waist, buried her head in his chest, feeling his warmth. Honey, what's wrong? Min Gran lifted her head, looked at Zhao Heng's face, and blinked her big eyes. There's no one home now. Zhao Hong whispered, and Min Gran instantly understood Zhao Heng's meaning. She buried her head again, letting out a soft against Zhao Heng's chest. Zhao Hong reached out, hooked the strap of Min Gran's nightgown, and slowly pulled it down. Min Gran was very cooperative, helping Zhao Hong slowly remove her nightgown, revealing her snow-white skin. Heave-ho, Zhao Hong directly mounted her, pressing down on Min Gran's body. Click! Zhao Hong and Min Gran were both startled. They seemed to have heard a sound from outside. It sounded like someone had come in. Are Mom and Dad back? Min Gran hid under the covers in fear, asking softly. Impossible, right? If they came back, they would have sent a message in advance. Zhao Hong got off Min Gran and got out of bed. Min Gran, on the other hand, covered herself completely with a quilt. Zhao Hong started wondering who was outside. Could it be the cleaner? Did they just come in without knowing if anyone was home? He frowned, opened the bedroom door, and walked out. As soon as he stepped out, he met the eyes of the person in front of him and froze on the spot. The person before him had a head full of white hair, tied up in a bun. It was an old lady, her face full of wrinkles, slightly stooped, but her eyes were still resolute, looking quite spirited. I'm Zhao Hong. Grandma, don't you recognize me? Zhao Hong. Grandma squinted her eyes into a line, came closer, and stared at Zhao Heng's face for a long time. Oh my goodness. Zhao Hong, you've really gotten bigger. Grandma didn't recognize you. Grandma recognized Zhao Hong, reached out, and patted his arm, and grinned broadly. Grandma, why are you here? Zhao Hong leaned closer to his grandmother's ear and asked, Well, isn't it because your dad said you're coming home for New Year's this year? So he called me over too. Your mom and dad are busy, so I have to come and help tidy up my New Year's goods. We can't have nothing in the house for New Year's. It's still early for New Year's. Not early at all. Still sleeping in, aren't you? Still in your pajamas. I'll help you fold the quilt. Hurry up and get out of bed. Grandma patted Zhao Heng's arm, then walked past him, pushed open the bedroom door, and went straight in. Hey no, Grandma. Zhao Hong wanted to stop her, but couldn't. By the time Grandma walked into the room, she saw the quilt on the bed was bulging. There was clearly someone lying inside. What's going on? Grandma was stunned for a few seconds, then lowered her voice, pointed at the quilt, and looked at Zhao Hong, asking, Grandma, you go out first, we'll talk later. Zhao Hong didn't explain, first ushered Grandma out, then quickly closed the bedroom door. Bang, honey, get up. My grandma's here. Zhao Hong gently patted the quilt and said in a low voice. He felt a bit helpless. He was just getting to the good part. He was just getting in the mood, and then his grandma suddenly arrived, completely ruining his mood. Min Gran poked her head out, her face extremely red, looked at Zhao Hong and whispered, Grandma, why'd he never mention her? And you never went to see her? Well, I don't have that much time, and my grandma's house is quite far away, and most importantly, Zhao Hong scratched his head, somewhat embarrassed, and continued, she's a bit strict. I'm a little afraid of her, so I don't visit her much. Is she very strict? When I went to my grandma's house as a child, I couldn't play games, she wouldn't let me. Anyway, all sorts of rules. It was especially annoying. It wasn't like being at grandma's house, more like being in a training camp. Min Gran quickly got dressed with Zhao Hong, tidied up the bed. Then Min Gran stood in front of the mirror and started to fix herself, combing her hair, tidying her clothes, etc. She had just woken up, her condition was not good at all, and now she was about to meet Zhao Heng's grandma. It was too hasty, and she heard that she was such a strict person, which made Min Gran even more nervous. Let's go. Remember to speak louder later. She's a bit hard of hearing. She can't hear if you speak softly. Oh, okay. Got it. Min Gran nodded, cleared her throat, then opened the door with Zhao Hong and walked out. Looking down from upstairs, she saw Zhao Heng's grandmother sitting on the sofa below, making tea. Min Gran saw her grandmother's appearance and became nervous again. She did look a bit strict. Her features were a bit. Grandma happened to look up, saw Zhao Hong coming downstairs, and also saw Min Gran following behind him. Her brow furrowed slightly, and her expression immediately became serious. Grandma, let me introduce you. This is my girlfriend. Her name is Min Gran. We've been together for over a year. After Zhao Hong finished his introduction, Gran also quickly bowed and greeted, "Hello, Grandma." Hello." Grandma smiled slightly, responded, then looked Gran up and down, as if she wanted to examine her from head to toe. "Sit." Zhao Hong pulled Gran to sit down on the sofa. "So, what does your family do?" Zhao hangs, but had only been on the seat for a second when he heard Grandma's question. He immediately pulled Gran up again. Hey, Grandma. How about this? You can ask my mom for the details. The situation is quite complicated. It can't be explained in just a few words." Zhao Hong waved his hand, wanting to brush it off. The thought of having to explain a bunch of things made him feel it was troublesome. Thinking about his grandmother's personality, she would definitely ask this and that. It was better to leave such troublesome matters to his mom. "Hey, you're quite protective of her, kid. What's wrong with Grandma asking a few questions? It's not like I'm going to eat her. What are you afraid of?" Grandma didn't understand what Zhao Hong meant. She didn't think she had asked anything very offensive, right? Gran took a step forward and whispered, "Let me tell Grandma, it's okay." But just as she stepped forward, Zhao Hong pulled her back and shielded her behind him. "Grandma, you haven't had lunch yet, have you? We'll go out and buy some. You rest here," Zhao Hong said with a smile, then led Gran away from there. Gran was slightly taken aback. She knew Zhao Hong was protecting her, preventing her from bringing up those sad past events. But what Zhao Hong didn't know was that she would no longer cry over those painful memories. She could now talk about them calmly, accepting reality. Despite this, facing Zhao Hong's protection, her heart still fluttered. After all, throughout this journey, it was Zhao Hong who had been protecting her, not letting her suffer any harm. Ran's lips curved upwards. She squeezed Zhao Hong's hand and was led away by him. "Hey, this." Grandma sat on the sofa, looking bewildered, her raised hand slowly lowering. She turned her head, picked up the teacup on the coffee table, took a sip, smacked her lips, and muttered, "This kid is just like his father, even in protecting his wife's side." In her mind, she seemed to recall a timid girl with a very soft voice, who, many years ago, when she first came to their house, also hid behind her son, letting her son stand up for her. She didn't even dare to look at her, as if afraid that she, her mother-in-law, would bully her. Hasn't that girl now grown into a female president of a large company? So, whether one has confidence or not, apart from family, the relationship with one's partner is really important. Grandma's wrinkled and spotted hand slowly put down the teacup. She looked up, took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and murmured, "You learned it all from him, old man." Grandma seemed to have thought of something, squinted her eyes, and chuckled softly. Zhao Hong and Gran left the house together and strolled down the street. Walking on this familiar street made Zhao Hong feel very different, as if his thoughts were pulled back many years. Just then, Gran suddenly kissed his cheek. "Thank you, honey. Haha, what are you thanking me for? It's just that Grandma asks endless questions, and I was hungry, I had to go eat." "So, what about your grandfather? And your maternal grandparents? Aren't they coming for New Year's?" Zhao Hong shook his head and said softly, "They've all passed away. Only Grandma is still here." "I see. Then Grandma must be very lonely usually. Mom and Dad are both busy, and you don't visit often." "There's a nanny who has been with Grandma for over 20 years. We're relieved with her taking care of her." Gran tilted her head and asked, "You said Grandma is very strict, but she's also very good to you, right?" "Well, that's true. After all, I'm her biological grandson. She definitely likes me a lot. She was strict with me when I was little, but she still spoiled me." Gran thought of her own grandparents, maternal grandparents, and so on. Her biological ones didn't acknowledge her, and the non-biological ones didn't want to bother with her. Her maternal grandparents, because they opposed her mother's divorce, had broken off relations with her and didn't care about her either. So, her feelings for the older generation weren't actually very strong. She saw that Zhao Hong's grandmother was very good, so she felt a little envious, having never experienced this kind of affection. "That's the elementary school I went to ahead." Zhao Hong pointed forward to an elementary school. It was winter break, and the school gates were closed. "Dear, what were you like in elementary school?" Gran became interested and asked Zhao Hong. "I often slept in class, got criticized by the teacher, played basketball and games with Tang Ji after school, basically like that." Zhao Hong thought about his elementary school. It seemed there was nothing special, and even if there was, he probably forgot. "Didn't any girls like you when you were little?" Zhao Hong was suddenly taken aback, blinked at Gran, somewhat surprised, not knowing why she would suddenly ask this. Zhao Hong scratched his cheek with his finger and said awkwardly, "Probably not. I didn't pay attention." "Oh, probably. Yin Mingran showed a mischievous smile, leaned her head over, looked into Zhao Hong's eyes, as if teasing him. What's wrong? Did any boys like you when you were little? Being asked this by Zhao Hong, Yin Mingran turned her head away and whispered, probably not either. Zhao Hong directly put his arm around Yin Mingran's neck, pulled her close, then leaned his face over and asked with a smile, Oh, probably? Quick, fess up. Inside a restaurant, it was lunchtime, and it was quite crowded. At a corner table, a man sat playing with his phone, looking somewhat haggard and listless. There was a noticeable scar on his face. He held his phone and sent a voice message to someone. When are you arriving? I've been waiting for you for ages. Coming. He had just finished sending the voice message when another man stood before him, giving him a faint smile. He put down his phone, a faint smile playing on his lips, and said, Long time no see, Brother Xiang. No, Brother Shua, you're too kind. The man sat down, met his gaze, and they both couldn't help but smile like old friends reuniting after a long time. It really has been a long time. If you hadn't contacted me, I wouldn't have dared to contact you, Liang Jiaxiang. Lu Yinshua fiddled with the cup in his hand, lowered his head, and muttered softly. Liang Jiaxiang shrugged and said, What's there to be embarrassed about? Weren't we on good terms before? It's just that after you transferred schools, we couldn't hang out together anymore. Are you sure? You didn't hang out with me because I was being stupid back then. Oh, so you knew, huh? Haha. I was too embarrassed to say it directly. Liang Jiaxiang laughed, slapping the table, laughing so hard he was out of breath, until tears welled up in the corners of his eyes. Lu Yinshua instantly felt extremely embarrassed, his face turning a little red. He covered his eyes with his hand and whispered, Sigh, young and foolish. Thinking back now, I really lost all face for a lifetime back then. It wasn't that bad. You just insisted on pursuing someone else's girlfriend, and then you transferred schools. I didn't expect you to be so fragile. Liang Jiaxiang recalled the events of high school, finding them amusing just thinking about them. He had truly fulfilled his duty as a friend back then. He had helped and advised him as much as he could. If he himself didn't listen and insisted on making a mistake, there was nothing he could do. There are even more embarrassing things you just don't know. Lu Yinshua reached out, pointed to the scar on his face, squinted his eyes, and said in a low voice, How did you get that? What more embarrassing thing? Only then did Liang Jiaxiang notice the scar on Lu Yinshua's face. It looked like he had suffered a rather serious injury. Lu Yinshua sighed. Thinking about his past actions, he felt like an idiot, not knowing he was kicking an iron plate. Sigh, let's not talk about it. It's too embarrassing. Just saying it makes me feel bad. It wouldn't still be related to Yin Mingran, would it? By the way, how are they doing now? Are you still in contact with them? It seems I haven't seen them since the high school class reunion. Liang Jiaxiang thought that the last time he saw Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran was probably at the class reunion after high school graduation. At that time, Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran were truly the main characters, the center of attention for the whole class. He seemed to have had a drink with Zhao Hong back then. He had also drunk a bit too much at the time and had forgotten what he said to Zhao Hong. How could I possibly have any contact with them? How would I dare? Now, I'd be thankful if I never saw them again for the rest of my life. I'd avoid them if I could. Lu Yinshua shrugged helplessly and said softly. Just as he looked up, his pupils suddenly constricted. His body jolted. He saw two familiar figures walk into the restaurant entrance. Honey, is this the restaurant you were talking about? The atmosphere looks nice. Yeah, I used to eat here often. It's been renovated now. I just don't know if the taste has changed. Let's find a seat. Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran walked in, looked around. It was very crowded, and finding an empty seat was a bit difficult. Hello, how many in your party? 2. Okay, follow me. The waiter led the two in. Lu Yinshua watched as they got closer and closer, his heart pounding, his eyes wide, especially when he saw Zhao Hong. His body was trembling slightly, and he felt the scar on his face faintly ache. What's going on? How could they be here? Their home shouldn't be around here, right? How could it be? Lu Yinshua was extremely flustered, so much so that he couldn't sit still, feeling like he would lose control and run away any second. What's wrong with you? Liang Jiaxiang noticed something was off with him, so he also turned around and saw Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran walking towards them. Completely opposite to Lu Yunshua's reaction, Liang Jiaxiang's eyes lit up, and he quickly raised his hand and called out, Zhao Hong. Zhao Hong and Yin Mingran heard the voice, looked forward, and saw Liang Jiaxiang waving. They were stunned for a second, then recognized him. Liang Jiaxiang. Then, they looked at the person sitting at the same table as Liang Jiaxiang. Even though that person was trying his best to cover his face, they still recognized him at a glance. Wasn't that Lu Yunxia? They hadn't seen him since his father brought him to apologize last time. Is it okay to sit here? The waiter led the two to the table next to Liang Jiaxiang and Lu Yunshua's. At this time, this was the only empty spot. Good? The two of them didn't mind and went over to sit down. Zhao Hong also looked at Liang Jiaxiang and asked, "What a coincidence. Do you live around here?" "Yeah, you too? I thought you lived near the high school." "Ah, that was a rented place. Home is still here." Zhao Hong and Liang Jiaxiang chatted back and forth, just the usual pleasantries between high school classmates meeting again. Gran was looking at the menu, not participating in their conversation. It was like an unspoken understanding between them. If the other person was a girl, Gran would talk, and Zhao Hong would stay quiet beside her. If it was two guys, Zhao Hong would mostly do the talking, and Gran wouldn't say a word. As they talked, Zhao Hong shifted his gaze to Lu Yunshua beside him, thinking it wouldn't be right to ignore him, right? It would make it seem like he was targeting him, even if they had conflicts. He was indeed furious at the time, but the guy's father had personally come to apologize, and Gran was fine. If he still held a grudge, it would seem petty. Just as Zhao Hong looked over, he made eye contact with Lu Yunshua. Lu Yunshua shivered all over, immediately stood up, stood ramrod straight, bowed, and said loudly, "President. President Zhou, hello." What nonsense are you spouting now?" Liang Jiaxiang glanced at him, frowned, and asked in confusion. Zhao Hong and Gran were also dumbfounded. They exchanged a look, utterly bewildered. What is wrong with this guy? What was he suddenly up to? They had no idea what Lu Yunshua was thinking, nor did they know what he had been through. At that time, after being beaten into the hospital by Zhao Hong, he had hated him to the core. He had even thought about how to retaliate, even having the urge to kill him. But then, a few people suddenly barged into the hospital, changing all his thoughts, even changing his family. His father's booming business instantly faced a crisis of unemployment. Even all their family assets were investigated, financial projects, stocks, and so on. If those people wanted, they could make his family bankrupt. This made Lu Yunshua completely understand that he and Zhao Hong were not in the same league. He would never be able to compare to him in any aspect for his entire life. This made him completely bow his head, give up, and feel only fear towards Zhao Hong. He couldn't understand why such a figure would be in the same high school, in the same class as him, and be so low-key, without him noticing his power for 3 years of high school. When his father took him to apologize, he was completely willing, apologizing with utmost sincerity, afraid that Zhao Hong would hold a grudge against him. You calm down, sit down. Let's talk things out properly." Zhao Hong looked around, somewhat awkwardly waved his hand, signaling him to sit down. This person was so jumpy, he really didn't want to admit he knew him. Okay. Lu Yunshua also realized his reaction was a bit over the top, and sat down awkwardly. I just wanted to apologize for my previous behavior," Lu Yunshua said in a small voice, his hand unconsciously touching the scar on his cheek. Didn't you already apologize? We accepted it at the time, so there's no need to apologize repeatedly." Zhao Hong frowned slightly and waved his hand. "What on earth happened between you guys? It seems very complicated." Liang Jiaxiang was very puzzled. What had happened to make their relationship like this, and Lu Yunshua like this, with an added scar on his face? All of this confused him. But when he asked, no one spoke, as if no one wanted to answer his question. "Hey, don't ask." Lu Yunshua even reached out, patted his arm, and winked at him. "All right." Although Liang Jiaxiang didn't understand why, he still listened to Lu Yunshua. Anyway, it had nothing to do with him, so if they didn't want to talk about it, they didn't have to. It was just Lu Yunshua's earlier President Zhou that Liang Jiaxiang was very concerned about. He was definitely talking about Zhao Hong, right? If it just had some grudge, Lu Yunshua wouldn't need to change how he addressed him, right? Then there could only be one reason. Zhao Hong's identity must be very extraordinary. In just a few seconds, Liang Jiaxiang had cleared his thoughts, and the way he looked at Zhao Hong was also a bit different. "Zhao Hong, long time no see. This meal is on me. Order whatever you like." Liang Jiaxiang smiled and said lightly, raising his hand. Lu Yunshua glared at him, thinking, what kind of status does he have? Does he need you to treat him? Isn't this just asking for contempt? However, Zhao Hong and Gran didn't think so. Zhao Hong quickly said, No, how could we? You're too kind. If anyone's treating, it should be us. We're all classmates. Don't be so polite. It's okay, it's all the same. You guys already treated us enough at the class reunion. We didn't spend any money. It's my turn to treat. It's only polite. Hey, this. Zhao Hong wanted to say more, but Gran stopped him, holding his hand and shaking her head. Zhao Hong also knew that further refusal would lead nowhere. Anyway, it wouldn't cost much. Since it was their kind intention, he should accept it. All right then, let's keep in touch more often. Remember to call me when you're in Dongzhou, and I'll treat you then. Okay, no problem. Liang Jiaxiang nodded and made an okay gesture. This made Lu Yunchua, who was standing by, freeze for a moment, amazed at how he could establish a relationship with Zhao Hong in just a few words. And Zhao Hong, too, didn't he know his own status? Did he have no airs at all? Letting people casually strike up a conversation? Why was he the only one here being jumpy, like a fool? Let's share a table and eat together? Sure. Liang Jiaxiang sat next to Lu Yunchua, making room for Zhao Hong and Yin Minggran. After Zhao Hong and Yin Minggran sat down, Lu Yunchua became even more nervous, lowering his head, pulling his feet back, not even daring to look directly at Zhao Hong opposite him. You guys are at Dongji University now, right? Is the environment particularly good? It's all right, pretty good. I saw in the news recently that very popular model, Jing Yu, also got into Dongji University. Have you met her? More than met. We're friends. We even had dinner together a couple of days ago. Really? What's she like in person? There are rumors online that she's had work done. Can you tell? No, she's all natural. You can tell. Liang Jiaxiang, Zhao Hong, and Yin Minggran chatted back and forth, very naturally and harmoniously, while Lu Yunchua sat there like an orphan, neither joining the conversation nor playing with his phone, just sitting there listening, and at the same time, very envious that Liang Jiaxiang could chat so naturally with Zhao Hong, while he couldn't. The three of them kept chatting while eating, and no one cared about Lu Yunchua. By the time they finished eating, Lu Yunchua still hadn't said a word, and Liang Jiaxiang was already chatting very enthusiastically with Zhao Hong and the others. All right then, we'll get going. Thanks. Zhao Hong and Yin Minggran stood up, ready to leave, not planning to stay any longer. Grandma was still at home, and they had to bring something back for her to eat. Then let's meet up again after the new year. How about we go skiing? Liang Jiaxiang also stood up and made a suggestion. Zhao Hong and Yin Minggran exchanged a look. Neither of them had any objections. Skiing sounded quite interesting. Sure, let's get in touch after the new year. Okay, I'll contact you then. After Liang Jiaxiang said goodbye to the two, he sat down again. Lu Yunchua finally dared to speak, turning his head to look at him and saying incredulously, "You really don't know his status, do you? And you still dare to ask him out, you?" Liang Jiaxiang raised a finger, interrupting Lu Yunchua, not letting him continue. Then he turned his head, looked at Lu Yunchua with a slight smile, and said softly, "I don't know, and I don't want to know, because it's not important." Since he didn't say it himself, then we're still classmates. Why scare ourselves? In the evening, Zhao Heng's grandmother cooked a large table full of dishes and told Zhao Hong and the others not to eat out, but to eat at home. So, Zhao Hong and the others wandered outside until around 4 in the afternoon, then went home to help Grandma, cooked the dishes together, and ate together in the evening. Here, child, eat more. Grandma picked up some food with her chopsticks and put it in Yin Minggran's bowl. The wrinkles on her smiling face became more pronounced. Yin Minggran pursed her lips and said softly, "Thank you, Grandma." Grandma, her name is Yin Minggran. If you can't remember, just call her Ran Ran. I've said it 3 times today, and you still haven't remembered? Zhao Hong shook his head helplessly from the side. Grandma chuckled a few times and said, Grandma is old. Her memory isn't good. It's okay. I remember now, Ran Ran. It's okay, Grandma. You can call me whatever you like. Yin Minggran didn't mind this at all. What she was called didn't matter. While eating, Zhao Hong asked, "Grandma, did you call Mom?" "Yes, I did." I asked clearly. Ran Ran, Grandma didn't know what was going on. Grandma apologizes to you. Hey, Grandma, please don't say that. You don't have anything to apologize for. I can't accept this. Yin Minggran was startled and quickly stood up, looking nervous. Grandma quickly pulled Yin Minggran down, had her sit beside her, and said softly. At that time, Grandma still had prejudices, thinking you two were being a bit mischievous. No matter how good the relationship, how could you casually bring someone home to live before marriage? People would gossip. But after understanding the situation, I finally understood what was going on. This child has had it rough. You've suffered. Grandma held Yin Minggran's hand, her face full of heartache. She had learned about Yin Minggran's past today, and her heart ached listening to it. She really hadn't expected this child to have gone through such things. Yin Minggran smiled, shook her head, and said, "It's all thanks to Zhao Hong, Grandma. He brought me home, helped me, took care of me. That's why I am who I am today. So I'm incredibly grateful to Zhao Hong, to his family. I can never repay this kindness in my lifetime." Good. We're all family. Xiao Wei told me everything. How excellent and sensible you are. Being able to keep such a good child like you is our family's blessing. The way Grandma looked at Min Gran now, the more she looked, the more she liked her. She praised Min Gran so much that she became a little embarrassed, her face blushing, and said, "Ah, Grandma, you're too kind. I'm the one who's truly fortunate to be part of your family." Zhao Hong wasn't surprised at all by his grandmother's reaction. He just ate quietly. After all, who wouldn't like a girl who was so beautiful, so outstanding, and so polite, with so many good qualities? So he wasn't worried about Min Gran at all, knowing she would definitely gain the family's approval. "Hey, when are you two getting married?" Zhao Hong and Min Gran were instantly stunned. Zhao Hong even stopped chewing the food in his mouth and looked up at his grandmother, completely bewildered. Seeing that something was off with the two of them, Grandma frowned and asked, "What's wrong? You two aren't planning not to get married, are you?" "Oh, no. That's not it. It's just that I didn't expect you to suddenly ask this question. I think it's still too early for marriage, and we're not of age yet, and studies are very demanding right now." Zhao Hong glanced at Min Gran, afraid she would be unhappy when he said this. Of course, he wanted to marry Min Gran. He wanted it so badly. But right now, it was indeed impossible. Studying was too busy. They barely had any time for dates, let alone taking time out to get married. He didn't want his and Imungran's wedding to be so rushed, so it would definitely take a long time to prepare, and they didn't have that time now. I see. That's right. Young people these days get married late. That's fine, no rush." Grandma muttered a few words and patted Imungran's hand. Min Gran first pursed her lips, then gave a faint smile and nodded with an It was a simple gesture, but Zhao Hong saw it. They chatted normally during dinner. After dinner, they took turns showering and went back to their room to prepare for bed. After turning off the lights, the room was pitch black. Zhao Hong lay in bed, his eyes open, staring at the ceiling. He could feel Min Gran lying with her back to him. He turned over and hugged Min Gran from behind. "Honey, what's wrong?" Min Gran responded softly, reached out, and held Zhao Hong's hand. They felt each other's warmth. The room was very quiet. Even their breathing was particularly clear. She liked it when Zhao Hong hugged her like this, feeling more secure and comfortable when hugged from behind. "Do you think?" "No, not what you think, but what do you want? When do you want to get married?" Zhao Hong's voice was very low, whispering in Imungran's ear. Min Gran had already closed her eyes, trying to fall asleep. Hearing Zhao Hong's words, she immediately opened her eyes and exhaled. I'm fine with whenever. When we're not busy, after graduation, that's all fine." It sounded like Min Gran was answering casually, as if she hadn't given it much thought. "We've discussed this topic before, right? Perhaps our thoughts are different now. Have they changed?" Zhao Hong held Imungran's hand in return, his warm breath continuously fanning her ear. Imungran's body trembled slightly. Then she shifted, turning over completely to face Zhao Hong, then reached out to hug his waist, lying in his embrace. "Don't overthink it. You're trying to be considerate of my feelings, right?" I can't hide anything from you, can I?" Zhao Hong laughed awkwardly, not expecting Min Gran to have guessed this. Sometimes he suspected Min Gran was a mind reader, able to guess everything. Their tacit understanding had far surpassed his with Tang Ji. This was the result of sleeping together for over a year. Min Gran chuckled, stroked Zhao Hong's chest with her hand, and said softly, "Of course, I know you very well. You're very attentive, very gentle, very good at taking care of people, always considering my feelings. You've always been like this. But I want you to know that I will always unconditionally support you and love you. So your thoughts are my thoughts, and that will never change." In the morning, Zhao Hong was washing up in the bathroom when Min Gran walked in, hugged Zhao Hong's waist, looking sleepy, leaned against Zhao Hong's back, and asked softly, "Honey, what are we doing today?" "Today, we can go play somewhere else. To be honest, there's not much fun around my place." Zhao Hong rinsed his mouth and spat, looking at Min Gran in the mirror, and said, "I see. Then I'll pack up right away." Buzz. Just then, Imungran's phone rang. She took it out and looked at it, and her eyes lit up instantly. "Hey, honey, Zhu Tao and the others are back today. Why don't we go find them to play?" Min Gran gently patted Zhao Hong's back, smiled, and said. The message on her phone was from Zhu Tao, telling Min Gran they were back from school today. Shouldn't they have been on break long ago? Why are they only back now? Maybe they played around the school for a few days. Anyway, it's not New Year's yet, so they weren't in a hurry to come home. "Okay, let's go find them. It's been a long time since we saw them." Zhao Hong nodded, agreeing to Imungran's suggestion. Anyway, they didn't have anything else to do. Should we ask Tang Ji and the others to come along? You can ask. It would be fine if Tang Ji and Yu Lingxue come together. If only one of them comes, wouldn't she be left out? Okay. Inside the airport, a man and a woman walked out, dragging their suitcases. They had clearly returned from a warmer place, wearing fewer clothes than others. It's so cold. I should have put on more clothes before getting off the plane. Zhu Tao shivered, her breath clearly visible. Liao Hao immediately put down his suitcase and said, "There are thick clothes in the suitcase. Put them on now. You can feel the cold even in the airport. It'll be even colder outside later." Okay. The two of them put on thick clothes right there in the airport, lest they catch a cold when they went out later. Liao Hao stood there, took a deep breath, looked back at Zhu Tao, and asked, "We haven't been back for several months, huh? Did you miss home?" "Of course I did. My mom has been calling me constantly for the past few days, telling us to hurry back." My bad. Liao Hao scratched his head awkwardly. Actually, they should have been back long ago, but he forgot to buy plane tickets. Tickets before the new year were hard to get, and the ones from a few days ago were all sold out. They could only buy today's tickets at a high price. Zhu Tao glanced at her phone. She had received a message from Gran. She stood there and replied. After replying, she looked up at Liao Hao and said, Gran and the others want to come find us to play. They said they'll pick us up at the airport, so let's wait at the airport for a while. All right, then let's go get some breakfast first. I'm hungry. Liao Hao looked at the restaurants in the airport, feeling his stomach rumbling. They had woken up before dawn to catch the plane, and it was only 8:30 in the morning now. The two of them casually found a restaurant, planning to have breakfast first. Zhu Tao sat down and started messaging Gran, while Liao Hao went to order food. After a while, he came back with a tray and placed it on the table. Here, your share, no cilantro, and you can't have iced drinks. This one is hot. 1/3 sugar. Zhu Tao put down her phone, smiled slightly, tilted her head and said, Thank you, baby. You're so thoughtful. No big deal. Liao Hao also sat down, chuckled, very happy to be praised by Zhu Tao. Zhu Tao took a sip, exhaled a warm breath, suddenly thought of something, and asked, By the way, baby, I remember Gran said that you were the one who set her up with Zhao Hong, right? Yeah. Why are you suddenly asking this? Liao Hao nodded, then his hand holding the chopsticks trembled, because he suddenly remembered that he had confessed to Gran before. Gran wouldn't have told Zhu Tao about this too, right? Then wouldn't he be doomed? How did you set them up? Did you know them back then? Liao Hao's heart was still racing. He stammered, I think. I probably already knew Zhao Hong back then. It's been too long, I kind of forgot. Then I just set them up normally. Zhao Hong was a bit confused at the time, so I told him a lot, like what liking someone is, what it feels like to like someone, and so on. Oh, Zhu Tao squinted her eyes, staring at Liao Hao with a strange look, making him break out in a cold sweat. What's wrong? He thought Zhu Tao had noticed something amiss and was already thinking about how to explain it later. But Zhu Tao just stared at him for a while. Then her brow relaxed, and she said with a smile, You can even be someone's advisor? How come I never felt you were so knowledgeable about love? Liao Hao was instantly flushed with embarrassment, lowered his head, and his hands awkwardly picked at the tray. I only understand the theory, not the practice. Thinking about how he used to be with Zhu Tao, he felt very helpless. How could he have been so awkward back then? When he was setting up Zhao Hong and Gran, he was so decisive. Only when he was truly in the situation could he understand how Zhao Hong felt back then. It really wasn't his fault. It's easy to say anything with your mouth, but one can imagine Zhao Hong must have put in a lot of effort when he decided to be with Gran. Forget it. I won't tease you anymore. You've already done very well. Zhu Tao reached out and gently touched Liao Hao's cheek, comforting him. Liao Hao nodded heavily, smiling happily. Anyway, as long as she hadn't found out about that incident. As they were eating, they heard someone at the next table sending a voice message. Baby, I've arrived. I'm having breakfast at the airport waiting for you. Let me know when you get off the plane. The person's voice was very delicate, as if deliberately put on, trying hard to sound gentle. Liao Hao and Zhu Tao looked over and saw a young man about their age, sitting there, sending a voice message on his phone while drinking a bowl of plain congee. Liao Hao squinted, staring at the young man for a few seconds, and muttered with some surprise, I think I've seen that person before. He seems to have been in the same class as Zhao Hong in high school. Zhu Tao blinked and also said, I think I've seen him too. During your high school sports meet. I remember it was him who called Zhao Hong over. This guy seemed pretty famous in Zhao Hong's class. People in her class always mention him. Liao Hao recalled his high school days. The person's name was on the tip of his tongue, but he just couldn't remember it. The two of them kept staring at the young man, and the young man noticed, turning his head to frown at them. Hey, isn't this Brother Miao? Huh. Hearing him call out to him, Liao Hao Miao couldn't help but be stunned, his eyebrows raised, a look of bewilderment on his face. You know me? I know you. You might not know me. My name is Tong Yu. I was classmates with Zhao Hong and Yin Gran in high school. Aren't you good friends with Zhao Hong? The young man stood up, came to their table, and said with a smile. Tong Yu, right, I remember now. Yes, I'm pretty good friends with Zhao Hong. You were quite close to Zhao Hong back then too, right? Liao Hao Miao remembered who this person was. It seemed he often saw this person around Zhao Hong before. So what was he famous for? Yeah. I'm very good friends with Brother Zhao. He took special care of me. Tong Yu patted his chest and said with a light laugh. Then he saw the luggage beside them and asked, where are you guys planning to go? We just got back. We're having breakfast after landing. Liao Hao Miao looked at Tong Yu. He didn't have any luggage, and hearing what he just said, he suspected he was here to pick someone up. Are you here to pick someone up? Tong Yu nodded and said, yeah, to pick up my girlfriend. Zhu Tao asked in surprise. Coming to find you at this time? So she's not planning to go home for New Year's, huh? It was only a few days before New Year's. To be traveling at this time, she definitely wouldn't be able to go back for New Year's. I invited her to my place for New Year's. I was just teasing her. I didn't expect her to actually agree. Tong Yu chuckled a few times and shrugged awkwardly. Liao Hao Miao frowned and asked, how long have you known each other? Have you met before? No, we've known each other for about 2 months, met online. Today is our first time meeting. My goodness, this girl is really bold, daring to come just like that. Zhu Tao's eyes widened in disbelief. Meeting up after 2 months of online dating was normal, but directly going to an online date's home for New Year's was something she had never seen before, and they hadn't even met before. Liao Hao Miao also found it a bit hard to believe. He looked up at Tong Yu and asked in a low voice, could it be a scammer? Probably not, right? If she wanted to scam me, she should be trying to get me to go to her, right? Besides, what could she scam me out of? Could she be coming over to harvest my kidneys? Is the service that thorough? Tong Yu had also thought about this problem, but then he thought, this is my home turf, not me going to some unfamiliar place. There shouldn't be anything to be afraid of. Just then, Zhu Tao's phone rang. She picked it up and saw was Yin Gran calling. You've arrived? Then come on in. After hanging up the phone, about 5 minutes later, 4 people walked into the restaurant. Zhao Hong, Yin Gran, Tang Ji, and Yuling Xue. Holy cow, Brother Zhao. When Tong Yu saw Zhao Hong, he suddenly shouted excitedly, startling Zhao Hong, who jolted on the spot. What the hell? Zhao Hong squinted, looking at the person not far away. After seeing clearly, his mouth twitched. Tong Yu, how could he run into him everywhere? Even if the world was small, it couldn't be small enough to bump into him so often. Tong Yu looked at the 3 people beside Zhao Hong and exclaimed, wow, I haven't seen so many high school classmates since graduation. However, the 3 of them paid no attention to Tong Yu at all. After seeing Zhu Tao, they went to greet her and chat. What a coincidence, Brother Zhao. Long time no see. Tong Yu enthusiastically greeted him. Zhao Hong looked Tong Yu up and down, seeing that he seemed no different from before, without much change. A long time no see. What are you doing here? Picking someone up? Yeah, to pick up my girlfriend. Zhao Hong froze for a second, blinked, as if contemplating some important problem. Did that sentence just come out of Tong Yu's mouth? Or did he mishear? Girlfriend? As in a partner? Or some kind of nickname? Yeah, as in a partner, a romantic relationship. Female. Huh. Ha ha ha. Of course a girlfriend is female. Brother Zhao, what are you thinking? Human. What? Are you asking about the species? Yes, it's Homo sapiens, not a gorilla or something. Oh. Zhao Hong nodded silently, as if processing some complex information, his brain trying hard to process it. After more than 10 seconds of contemplation, he gave up thinking. Zhao Hong turned his head, went over to Yin Gran, Tang Ji, and the others, then lowered his head and told them what had just happened. Yin Gran, Tang Ji, and Yuling Xue all had the same expression. Surprise mixed with confusion, bewilderment mixed with a what are you talking about? Look, Tong Yu didn't understand what they were doing. Was it so incredible that he had a girlfriend? Buzz buzz, just then his phone rang. He glanced at it and saw it was a message from his girlfriend. Baby, you've landed. Okay, I'll wait for you at the exit, okay? Tong Yu replied cheerfully, a smile constantly on his face. Then, he prepared to leave the restaurant. Zhao Hong and the others exchanged glances, showing strong curiosity. What do you say? Want to see? Curious. Let's go. Let's go see. Zhao Hong and the others immediately followed him out. This left Liao Hao Miao and Zhu Tao stunned. Weren't they here to see them? Why were they suddenly curious about someone else's girlfriend? Was this guy's girlfriend really that special? The four of them, Zhao Hong and his group, followed behind Tong Yu to the arrival gate. Tong Yu also started calling the other person, asking, "Baby, are you out yet? What are you wearing? White top, black bottom, right? Okay, let me see. White top, black bottom. Is that her?" Zhao Hong patted Tong Yu's shoulder, then pointed in a direction and asked tentatively, "Huh? Which one?" Tong Yu immediately looked in that direction, and, as a result, he saw a middle-aged, overweight man wearing a white shirt and black suit pants. Tong Yu was stunned for a moment. His heart skipped a beat. Then he quickly shook his head and said, "Bro, Zhou, stop joking. How could it be? I'm still on the phone." Tong Yu shook his phone, gesturing that the other person wasn't even holding a phone. So how could it be? But for that 1 second, he was genuinely scared. No reason, just because he was so unlucky, his online love interest turning out to be a middle-aged man using a voice changer, that this kind of thing happening to him felt almost plausible. Tang Ji asked helplessly, "Wait, didn't you guys ever video call before you started dating online? You don't know what she looks like." Tong Yu turned his head, looked at Tang Ji, and shook his head earnestly, saying, "Nope, I have a bit of low self-esteem. I didn't dare to. I was afraid she wouldn't like me." Yu Ling Xue sneered. "Then you still tricked her into coming here. What will you do if she really doesn't like you then?" "So what? Haven't I already tricked her over? Since she's already here." Tong Yu chuckled, not thinking there was any problem, even feeling quite clever. Just then, Min Gran pointed at someone and said, "Is that the girl?" Everyone looked over and saw a girl standing there, having just walked out of the main gate. She was wearing a white cotton jacket, black jeans, and a gray scarf, holding a phone in her hand. She looked to be only about 1.5 meters tall, not very tall. Compared to the people passing by her, she was tiny. She wore round-framed glasses, her hair was neatly braided, and she had a few freckles on her cheeks, but they didn't detract from her appearance. Instead, they added a unique charm. Overall, she was an unremarkable girl, but she gave off a very well-behaved vibe. Tong Yu blinked, stunned for a few seconds, then quickly picked up his phone and said softly into it, "Hello, I think I see you. Can you wave?" "Oh, okay." Then everyone saw the girl raise her hand and wave gently. "Damn, is it really her? Such a normal person?" "Tong Yu, how did you trick her? You didn't lie and exaggerate, did you?" "Unbelievable." Zhao Hong and the others were all very surprised. They hadn't expected Tong Yu's girlfriend to actually be such a normal girl. This was too mismatched with Tong Yu. Tong Yu and the girl also successfully made eye contact. Seeing each other, the girl put down her phone and walked over, pulling her suitcase. When she got a few steps closer, she suddenly paused, noticing 4 other people beside Tong Yu, 3 of whom were stunningly beautiful women. Her hands instinctively rose to her chest. She froze for a second, then slowed her pace and walked over slowly. Hi. Tong Yu stood in front of her, looking a bit reserved, raised his hand, and greeted her softly. "Hi, you're Tong Yu, right?" The girl returned the greeting, then asked tentatively, a hint of worry in her tone, as if she were a little scared. "Yeah, that's me. You're Jing Wan, right? I shouldn't have mistaken you." "No, it's impossible to mistake you." Tong Yu scratched his head awkwardly. It was the first time a girl had spoken to him so normally, and he really wasn't used to it. To be honest, before he came here, he had no confidence at all, even believing early on that he wouldn't have a good outcome. The girl called Yu Jingwan nodded gently. Then her eyes unconsciously glanced at the 4 people beside him. Zhao Hong patted Tong Yu's arm and said, "Ahem, introduce us. What are you waiting for?" "Oh, right." Tong Yu finally reacted, then looked at the 4 and introduced them. "Everyone, this is my girlfriend, Yu Jingwan. She's 1 year younger than me. And, babe, cough cough Xiaowan, these 4 are my friends. They happened to be at the airport looking for someone, and we ran into each other." Tong Yu still couldn't bring himself to say babe. He realized he might dare to say it on the phone, but he really couldn't say it to her face. Zhao Hong couldn't stand it anymore, stepped forward and said, "I asked you to introduce us, and you're really being perfunctory. My name is Zhao Hong. This is my girlfriend, Min Gran, my cousin, Tang Ji, and this is Yu Ling Xue. We're all Tong Yu's high school classmates." After Zhao Hong finished speaking, the 3 girls also greeted Yu Jingwan. Yu Jingwan didn't even dare to look at their faces much, lowered her head slightly, waved her hand, and said softly, "Hi, you. You're all so beautiful." Min Gran smiled, stepped forward, and said softly, "Thank you. You're very beautiful too, really." Tong Yu nudged Zhao Hong with his elbow and whispered, "Bro Zhao." Error. Tong Yu sucked in a breath, lost in thought. After a moment, he whispered in Zhao Hong's ear, Bro Zhao, I'm not planning to take her home today. Do you think I should just get a king-size bedroom tonight? Or be a bit more reserved and get 2 rooms to play it cool first? Yum Thurfker. Thump. Zhao Hong lifted his foot and kicked Tong Yu's butt. Although he didn't use much force, it was enough to make Tong Yu grimace in pain. He had forgotten how long it had been since he last cursed. Today, he really couldn't hold back. This guy hadn't just remained unchanged on the outside. His inside was the same. Tong Yu smiled awkwardly, then walked over to Yu Jingwan's side and said, Ahaha. Well, since we met so coincidentally, how about we have lunch together? Let's get Brother Miao and the others to join us. My treat, okay? After saying that, he turned to Yu Jingwan and asked softly, this is someone who took really good care of me in high school. We haven't seen each other in a long time. Since we met today, it wouldn't be right if I didn't treat them to a meal. Is that okay? It's up to you. Yu Jingwan had no objections, nodded, and said, Of course, that's fine. Yin Mingran looked at Zhao Hong and asked, What should we do? Are we going? Zhao Hong crossed his arms, frowned, and said, Then let's go. This kid is a bit clueless. He finally met a nice, normal girl. We need to make him understand, to cherish her. Let's just consider it helping him out. We can chat more at lunch. All right then. I'll take her to the hotel to drop off her luggage first. See you at noon. Tong Yu waved his hand and was about to leave in a hurry. Only after Zhao Hong and the others saw Tong Yu leave with Yu Jingwan did they go back to find Liao Hao and the others. Upon seeing Zhao Hong, Liao Hao couldn't help but ask, What's the situation? Why are you guys so surprised that he has a girlfriend? Is this something to be surprised about? Zhao Hong exchanged a glance with the other girls, smiled awkwardly, then turned to Liao Hao and said, Let me put it this way, this guy is so legendary that apart from Yin Mingran, he's hit on every other girl present. Huh. Liao Hao first looked at Tang Ji and Yu Lingxue in surprise. The two nodded with a look of resignation. Then, Liao Hao suddenly thought of something and turned to look at Zhu Tao behind him. Zhu Tao froze for a second, blinked, and muttered. No wonder he looked familiar. All right, so how's his girlfriend? Is she normal? So normal, it makes us feel abnormal. Zhao Hong really couldn't understand. It was one thing for this girl to be in an online relationship, but why would she rush to meet in person just a few days before Chinese New Year? No matter how eager, it shouldn't be like this, right? But looking at her, she didn't seem like a scammer. In comparison, Tong Yu seemed more like the scammer. Let's just have lunch with them. We can go play somewhere else in the afternoon. Zhao Hong asked for Liao Hao's opinion. Liao Hao just exchanged a look with Zhu Tao, and they reached a consensus. Sure, no problem. We don't know where to go for now anyway. Let's put our luggage back home first. At this time, after leaving the airport, Tong Yu took Yu Jingwan into a taxi, planning to take her to a hotel first to settle her accommodation for the night. Originally, Tong Yu planned to sit in the front passenger seat. He subconsciously wanted to keep a distance from Yu Jingwan because no matter which girl he was around, they would always show a very disgusted look. So he was used to it. But then he thought carefully, wait a minute, aren't they dating? Then she shouldn't mind if he sat in the back too, right? She wouldn't want to be as far away from him as possible or show disgust, right? After hesitating, Tong Yu opened the back car door, got in, and sat next to Yu Jingwan. After the car started moving, the two sat in the back without saying anything. Tong Yu's hands were repeatedly clenching on his thighs, looking very anxious, wanting to say something but unable to get the words out. He called her babe so naturally on the phone and could talk so much. Why couldn't he say it after meeting in person? Maybe he should take out his phone now and chat with her for a bit? It's pretty cold today, huh? After a moment, Tong Yu squeezed out a sentence, as if chatting naturally, but only he knew how unnatural he felt. Yu Jingwan nodded gently and replied, Yeah, it is. Hey, are you cold wearing so little? Tong Yu subconsciously reached out to touch Yu Jingwan's pants, but the next second, he reacted and quickly pulled his hand back. What was he trying to do just now? Was he trying to touch her leg? Was this his subconscious reaction? Was he really that perverted? It's okay, not too cold. Yu Jingwan didn't notice Tong Yu's action, then reached out and pulled at her pants, saying, They're fleece-lined inside, not cold. Oh, that's good. Tong Yu into the topic. Then, his gaze drifted, and he saw Yu Jingwan's hand resting right there, just placed between the two of them, palm up. All he had to do was reach out and gently hold it. He remembered when they chatted on the phone, they talked so passionately. They even said they would kiss and hug when they met. So, if I proactively hold her hand, it shouldn't be a big deal, right? Tong Yu was really a bit scared. In his mind, he could only imagine being slapped after holding her hand. Maybe it was because he really had no experience in this area. He couldn't imagine those beautiful scenes, only those painful memories. Whatever, never mind. Kong Yu didn't care about these things anymore. Anyway, it was legitimate. As long as the other party hadn't suggested breaking up, then he was her boyfriend, right? So holding her hand should be fine, right? Then, Kong Yu pretended to look out the window and reached his hand over. Both of them were looking at the scenery outside their respective windows. Neither could see what was happening in the middle. The moment Kong Yu's hand touched Yu Jingwan's, both of them trembled slightly, as if stimulated by a weak electric current. Then, Kong Yu just placed his hand on Yu Jingwan's palm, not daring to grip it, just resting it lightly. The next second, something surprising happened to Kong Yu. Yu Jingwan proactively held Kong Yu's hand, and their hands instantly clasped together. Kong Yu still didn't dare to turn his head, just widened his eyes and swallowed, as if his throat was dry. She proactively held my hand? Such a thing actually happened? Could this be some kind of trap? Forget it. If it's a trap, it's a trap. This trap is pretty good. Such rough hands. Then, this thought appeared in Kong Yu's mind. He could feel Yu Jingwan's hand. Her palm was very rough, not delicate at all, not like the skin condition she should have at her age. Kong Yu remembered this was more like his grandparents' palms, which were rough and hard from a lot of farm work. How could a girl's hand be rougher than his, a man's? But since they were holding hands, this meant she should be satisfied with him, right? If she wasn't satisfied, she would have shown disgust after meeting, let alone holding hands. She probably wouldn't even want to say a word. Kong Yu wanted to ask something else. As long as he could get the conversation going, anything was fine. You're spending New Year's here with me. Are your parents okay with it? Do I need to call them and let them know? At this, Yu Jingwan suddenly lowered her head. After a few seconds of silence, she slowly said, "It's okay. No need." Kong Yu was stunned for a moment, turned to look at Yu Jingwan, and asked, "Won't they worry?" Yu Jingwan shook her head and said softly, "No. No one cares." Kong Yu didn't know what Yu Jingwan meant by that, but seeing that she didn't continue, he didn't feel right asking more. The topic ultimately didn't extend, and the atmosphere fell silent again. After about 10 minutes, the taxi arrived at its destination. This was a relatively good hotel. Kong Yu didn't have much money. Staying here was already a particularly generous move for him. He thought that since he had finally gotten a girlfriend, spending a little money was appropriate. But when Kong Yu picked up her suitcase, ready to walk in, she stood still. "What's wrong? Let's go." "Are we staying here?" Yu Jingwan stood there, a hint of timidity in her voice, feeling like she couldn't move forward. "Yeah, didn't we agree? We'll stay in a hotel for one night first, let you get used to it, and tomorrow I'll take you to my place." Kong Yu thought she was worried he would leave her here alone, so he explained. But Yu Jingwan wasn't thinking that. She shook her head gently and said softly, "How about we find another place to stay? This kind of place, isn't it quite expensive?" Oh, you mean this?" Kong Yu hadn't expected her to be concerned about this issue. "Oh, it's fine, not expensive. Let's go." "Then how much is it? I'll transfer it to you." No, not necessary." "Hey, didn't I tell you before you came? You don't need to spend a penny here." Kong Yu walked over directly and took her hand. After the first time, the second time was noticeably more natural. He led Yu Jingwan into the hotel and to the front desk. Only then did Kong Yu think of a problem. How should they book the room? Would booking a king-size bedroom directly be too obvious? And it wouldn't be easy to explain. She had just gotten off the plane not long ago. But booking 2 rooms was really inappropriate. Spending that money would be better spent just taking her home. But that would be too much of a blow to his pride. After thinking for a moment, Kong Yu said to the front desk, "Let's get a twin room." "Is that okay?" Kong Yu wasn't actually sure in his heart. Even if they were a couple, was it inappropriate to book one room right after meeting? But Yu Jingwan didn't seem to think anything was wrong, nodded, and replied, She really agreed? Kong Yu was somewhat surprised internally. He was now increasingly worried that he might encounter misfortune later. Things were developing a bit too smoothly, so smoothly that he really couldn't believe it. After booking the room, Kong Yu took Yu Jingwan to it. He put down the luggage, then sat on a chair because he also didn't know what to say or do now. Yu Jingwan also sat on the bed, picking at her hands, looking uneasy. After a while, she suddenly thought of something, stood up, and opened her suitcase. After a moment, she took out a large box of something and presented it to Kong Yu. This is... Kong Yu glanced at it. It was a large box of strawberries. "You said before that you liked them. I picked them fresh from the strawberry farm near my place this morning." A small smile finally appeared on Yu Jingwan's lips, looking very pure and clean. Kong Yu was stunned, just staring at her smile. "They're all carefully selected and washed. You can eat them." Yu Jingwan opened the box of strawberries, placed it on the table in front of Kong Yu, and then returned to sit on the bed. Kong Yu picked one up and took a bite. Very sweet and delicious. But he also started to think. It was only around 10 in the morning now. The The flight took over 3 hours. So Yu Jingwan had to get to the airport before 6. She also said they were freshly picked this morning. This meant that while he was sound asleep in the early morning, she had gotten up and gone to the strawberry farm to pick strawberries for him. Is it good? Yu Jingwan looked at him with a slight smile and asked softly. Delicious. Kong Yu nodded, then picked one up, walked over, and prepared to feed it to her. Yu Jingwan pursed her lips, looking a bit embarrassed, but she still opened her mouth and ate it. The atmosphere between them seemed to have eased considerably, and Kong Yu also took the opportunity to sit next to Yu Jingwan. Don't you need to report to your family? Yu Jingwan was silent for a long time, then shook her head and replied, No need. My family. There's no one. Oh, are they at work? Or on vacation? Kong Yu didn't seem to realize the seriousness of the problem and was still asking on his own. But Yu Jingwan's expression became increasingly sad, her complexion not good. I don't have any family anymore. Huh. Upon hearing this, Kong Yu couldn't help but blink, a look of surprise on his face. What did no family anymore mean? Parents passed away? Car accident? Yu Jingwan took a few deep breaths, as if she had made up her mind. Then she stood up, faced Kong Yu, looking very serious. All right, you'll find out sooner or later anyway, so I might as well tell you now. Okay, I'm all ears. Kong Yu sat obediently, listening to Yu Jingwan speak. Yu Jingwan gently pinched her pants with her fingers, looking very nervous. I've hardly ever seen my parents. My mom was a fallen woman, got pregnant with me by accident. I don't even know who my dad is. I guess she doesn't know either. Although Kong Yu didn't say a word, his suddenly stiffened body and wide eyes were enough to prove his shock. My mom resented me, so as soon as I was born, she threw me to my maternal grandparents to take care of, and then never came to see me again. Our family wasn't well off. After finishing junior high, I didn't go to school anymore and went out to work to earn money. Oh, Kong Yu nodded in sudden understanding. No wonder her hands were so rough. It was clearly from working. Then, Yu Jingwan's eyes dimmed, her expression filled with sorrow. 3 years ago, my grandpa passed away. Last year, my grandma also died of illness. Now, I'm the only one left at home. TSK. Kong Yu now understood why Yu Jingwan could so easily agree to come to his place for New Year's. She wasn't afraid he was a bad person, afraid he would deceive her or anything. Now that she was the only one left at home, there was probably nothing left to fear. Kong Yu took a deep breath, puffed out his chest, his expression solemn. After a long silence, he managed to squeeze out, I express my deepest condolences. It's okay. Yu Jingwan shook her head, looking a bit downcast, completely different from her state just now. Then, she looked up at Kong Yu and said softly, I've told you the truth. Now, you decide. What do I decide? Kong Yu also stood up, looking lost, blinking, not understanding what she meant. Decide whether you still want to be with me. No one would want to be with someone like me, right? Like an orphan, no parents, no family. It's okay. You can just tell me directly. I won't pester you. Yu Jingwan forced a smile, but it was still very stiff. No one could understand how much pain she was in. She hadn't told the truth for so long because she knew this kind of thing couldn't be said. If she said it, no one would want to get close to her. The child of a prostitute who didn't even know who her biological father was. From the moment she was born, she was already inferior. This was the first time she had mustered the courage to be in a relationship. She didn't want to hide it from him. It was better to tell him early and let him decide for himself. Then, why do you trust me so much? We've never even met, yet you dare to come find me. I invited you to my place for New Year's, and you dare to come. Kong Yu still didn't understand this point. When he invited her to his place for New Year's, half of it was a joke. He hadn't held out much hope. Who would agree? They had only been dating online for a few months, and she was coming to her online partner's home for New Year's. Even if the relationship developed at rocket speed, it wouldn't be this fast, right? But he hadn't expected Yu Jingwan to actually come. Yu Jingwan nervously fiddled with her fingers in front of her and whispered, because, you said, your mom is my mom, your home is my home. I took it seriously. Kong Yu was completely dumbfounded. He seemed to remember saying that. But isn't that how it is when you're dating and flirting? It's like, my mom will be your mom sooner or later. You're my girlfriend. My home is your home. It's not wrong. But isn't that something for after marriage? It's normal to say such things when dating. These are just simple words of affection. But he hadn't expected Yu Jingwan to take this sentence so seriously. In an instant, Kong Yu realized it was because of Yu Jingwan's special family background that she took his words so seriously. She really lacked a mother, lacked a home, right? That's why she could so boldly accept the invitation and fly over to find him. She was probably gambling too, gambling that he wasn't lying to her, gambling that he wasn't a bad person. You, let me think about it, okay? Kong Yu waved his hand, touched his head, and said softly. He couldn't quite process it now. Many things were running through his mind, and he couldn't make any decision. Okay, it's all right. Yu Jingwan wasn't in a hurry for Kong Yu to make a decision. For her, she definitely didn't want to know the answer too quickly. It's almost noon. Let's tidy up and get ready to go out. Find them for lunch, okay? Or do you want to sleep for a bit first? You must be tired from waking up early for the flight, right? It's okay, I'm not tired. Yu Jingwan shook her head. She couldn't sleep at all right now. Kong Yu contacted Zhao Hong, and they agreed on where to have lunch. After hanging up, he took Yu Jingwan and left the hotel, preparing to find Zhao Hong and the others. The restaurant wasn't far from the hotel. They took a taxi and arrived in 5 minutes. It was around 11:30 a.m., about lunchtime, and the restaurant was quite crowded. Zhao Hong and the others had already arrived and booked a private room. Kong Yu led Yu Jingwan into the private room and saw that everyone else was already seated. Hi. Yin Gran still greeted Yu Jingwan warmly, a smile always on her face. Hi. Yu Jingwan also responded positively. Although she didn't know Yin Gran well at all, she always felt a kind of gentleness from her. At this moment, she also saw that 2 more people had arrived. Kong Yu quickly introduced Liao Hao and Zhu Tao to her, and they greeted each other. This girl looks pretty good. This bro has some skills, huh? Not as bad as you said, right? Liao Hao leaned closer to Zhao Hong and whispered in his ear. Who knows? I don't know if it's due to his skills or some other reason. Zhao Hong shook his head. He knew Kong Yu's skills too well. Getting this girl definitely couldn't be because of skill. This girl wasn't very outstanding, especially compared to the other girls present. She seemed even more ordinary. She wasn't tall either, the shortest among the girls present, but she had her own characteristics, that honest, pure feeling. Her looks were the type that grew on you the more you looked at her. Can I call you Xiaowan? You two sit here, okay? Yin Gran patted the empty seat next to her, inviting Yu Jingwan over. Okay. The feeling Yin Gran gave her was the kind that made her subconsciously agree to anything, making it impossible to refuse. Yu Jingwan sat down next to Yin Gran. She also felt more comfortable sitting next to Yin Gran. The others didn't talk much. Only Yin Gran was the most enthusiastic towards her. You sit here first, you guys chat. I'll go out with Bro Zhou and Bro Miao to order food. Kong Yu gently patted Yu Jingwan's shoulder and said, okay. Zhao Hong was stunned for a moment, frowned slightly, and said, we can order here, why go out? Before he could finish, he saw Kong Yu winking frantically at him, giving him a look. Zhao Hong and Liao Hao exchanged a glance. Although they didn't know what Kong Yu was up to, they still gave him face, stood up together, and walked out of the private room with him. Kong Yu made sure his words wouldn't be overheard, then looked at the two and whispered, guys, I want you to give me some advice. Advice on what? Kong Yu bit his lip, silent for a few seconds, as if contemplating an important issue. Then, he let out a breath and slowly said, how can I, without hurting her, break up with her? What? What are you trying to do? Isn't your girlfriend great? Why do you want to break up? Liao Hao instantly frowned, crossed his arms, looking displeased. Zhao Hong even rolled up his sleeves directly, the veins on his wrist bulging, and said, spill it. What's the reason? Let's see if you have a reason that won't get you beaten. Kong Yu took a step back, quickly waved his hands, and said, I feel I'm not good enough for her. Yeah, does that even need to be said? You're only just realizing that. Zhao Hong and Liao Hao nodded in unison, agreeing with Kong Yu. But this also puzzled Zhao Hong. When did Kong Yu become this kind of person? Feeling he wasn't good enough, but they were already together. How could he bear to break up? There must be more to it than just this reason. Her situation is very special. I can't bear to hurt her. I know someone like me definitely can't give her a good life, so I don't want to hold her back from finding someone better. Kong Yu lowered his head and sighed helplessly. In fact, the moment Yu Jingwan asked him to decide, he could have said he absolutely wouldn't break up. That was his personality. But after hearing Yu Jingwan's story, he didn't dare to say it. Instead, he said he'd consider it, think about it. He knew he was a scoundrel. Many people looked down on him, but he didn't care about these things, lived quite happily. This was the first time he felt a sense of inferiority. He felt that a scoundrel like him was polluting Yu Jingwan, this lotus flower emerging unstained from the mud. Situation is special. What's so special? Zhao Hong frowned and asked in surprise. Sai, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. No parents. Isn't that special enough? The moment Kong Yu finished speaking, he suddenly felt his collar tighten and his body lighten. He was lifted up by Zhao Hong. Say that again. Liao Hao immediately grabbed Zhao Hong's arms with both hands and patted him. Hey. Bro. He's talking about his girlfriend. Oh, sorry. Zhao Hong put Kong Yu down, scratching his head awkwardly. Your reaction is too fast. You really can't mention this in front of him. Liao Hao shook his head and said helplessly. Kong Yu stood there completely stunned. What happened? What did he say? Why did Zhao Hong react so strongly? He was just lifted up so easily and then put down steadily? You continue, ahem. Zhao Hong coughed awkwardly, then pretended nothing had happened and told Kong Yu to continue. Kong Yu blinked, thinking, how could he dare to continue? It was as if he had said some forbidden word. He was lifted up without knowing what was going on. If he said something even more outrageous next time, wouldn't he be thrown out directly? Liao Hao stepped forward at this moment and said, all right, I understand. Overall, her family situation is special, and you feel you're not good enough, afraid of holding her back. So you want to break up, right? Yes. Zhao Hong shrugged, looked at Liao Hao and said, all right, it's your area of expertise now. I won't interfere. Liao Hao stared at Kong Yu and asked seriously, then let me ask you a question. Don't talk about whether you can give her happiness. Just tell me, do you want to? I want to. Kong Yu nodded without hesitation. That's enough. Don't overthink the rest. She trusts you so much to come and see you, yet you're thinking of breaking up with her. You think you're being very responsible, afraid of holding her back, but on the contrary, this is very irresponsible. Liao Hao continued, you haven't considered her feelings. Love is, after all, a matter between two people. Some problems can be faced together. No relationship is smooth sailing. Some hardships are necessary paths you walk hand in hand. You should talk to her properly and listen to her thoughts. Kong Yu tilted his head, frowned, and asked, really? After she gets to know me, will she still be willing to be with someone like me? Liao Hao suddenly laughed, put his hand on Kong Yu's shoulder, and said, don't underestimate a girl's courage and determination to walk with you. Both Zhao Hong and Kong Yu were stunned for a moment, looking at Liao Hao in surprise, not expecting him to say such words. After a moment, Kong Yu nodded heavily and said, is that so? I understand. Bro Meow, then what should I do? I feel like I can't give her anything. I have nothing. Liao Hao shook his head and said, it's not about what you have, but what she wants. Identify the underlying needs, provide scarce value. Scarce value. A girl from a very good family, never lacked money growing up, but has no close friends. Then, your sincere feelings and companionship are definitely better than just buying her things. It's not that the more money you spend on her, the happier she'll be. You should know what your girlfriend needs, right? In that instant, Kong Yu's mind suddenly recalled what Yu Jingwan had said to him in the hotel. Because, you said, your mom is my mom, your home is my home. I took it seriously. Kong Yu's thoughts cleared up in an instant. Everything became clear. She had this need, that's why she trusted him, why she chose to confide him, right? I know, I understand. I'm not breaking up. Thank you, bro Meow. Hey, no need. Just thank him. I just came out and lifted you up a bit, didn't do anything else. Zhao Hong waved his hand, shaking his head awkwardly. Then, Kong Yu went into the private room first. Zhao Hong and Liao Hao walked behind. Zhao Hong nudged Liao Hao's chest with his elbow and said with a smile, not bad. The old blade is still sharp, huh? Strategist Liao Hao, limited time return. Liao Hao proudly raised his chin, the corners of his mouth upturned, and said, Tisich, don't you remember who helped you and Yin Min Gran get together? Oh, Zhao Hong crossed his arms, nodded slowly, and asked, Relationship Master, since you understand so much, you must have your relationship with Zhu Tao all figured out, right? Liao Hao suddenly froze on the spot, looking at Zhao Hong speechlessly. After a moment, he nonchalantly flicked his hair and continued walking forward. Ahem, the healer cannot heal himself. The ferryman cannot ferry himself across.